start recording. Today, we're gonna be playing some more Turnabout Legacy. I'm gonna try and finish it today, maybe. Depends how long this stream will be. If we don't get it all done today, then I'll just finish it next Friday, and then maybe start another case in the same stream. But hopefully we're gonna try and finish Turnabout Legacy today. Hopefully. We've got like 3 more parts left, and in the past like 2 streams we've done 3 parts each. So hopefully we can do some hopefully we can do like 3 parts today. So yeah. Anyways, oh shit, I didn't switch this switch to this screen before. But yeah, so yeah, let's get into it. Oh yeah, I didn't mention on Friday, the video I say of the week, that is a deep dive into Angelina Ballerina by Sarah Serif. I'm gonna be so honest, I completely forgot about Angelina Ballerina, despite the fact that it was one of my childhood shows. I watched it a lot as a kid. And yeah, loved the show, and yeah, I really enjoyed this video, I say. So yeah, anyways, let's get back into Turnabout Legacy. Also, I think my audio is like weird put into my headphones. I definitely need a new pair. And that's pretty much how things went down. Those are the facts of IS7 as far as I'm concerned. I'm finally learning the truth about my father's last case. So what happened at the trial? Well, we lost. Von Karma did a real number on us. Really? You couldn't prove that Mr. Tangaroa was innocent? Oh, we could prove it alright. Had a decent little pile of evidence in our favour. Problem was, we underestimated Von Karma. He fought even dirtier than we'd feared. I can imagine. Secure conviction at all costs. That was always his guiding principle. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Anywho, the trial dragged on and on. Whole thing took about a year in the end. I'll never forget the day the verdict came down, December 28th that following year. It's April now. Oh, mama. We're talking over 17 years ago. Time sure does fly, huh? December 28th. I was there that day 17 years ago, sitting in the courtroom gallery. Just before the trial got started, Gregory noticed that Samson was looking even worse than usual. Turns out the poor guy had finally reached his limit. It was so bad, even said he wanted to be found guilty. Wait, you mean they forced a confession out of him? Yeah, Von Karma got what he'd been pushing for from the very beginning. And when Gregory tried to drop the bombshell about there being no body to speak of, he'd learned that Von Karma had used the power of the police to head him off at the pass. He even had himself a fake autopsy report, but that wasn't the end of it. Von Karma had gotten Samson to falsely testify against himself to be an accessory to murder in court. Combined with his confession, the poor guy's goose was well and truly cooked. But Gregory still had his ace in the hole though. Bad. The same ace he asked Detective Bad to help him with? Exactamundo. He knew he needed one last card to play if they squeezed the confession out of Samson. So he had Bad record all of Samson's interrogations. Guess Detective Bad really wanted to know the truth too, huh? We all did, but he was a trooper. Stayed with the case even after Von Karma took him off of it. He was tied up in some other big case too. Good or bad, they don't even make him like that anymore. Anyway, Gregory presented the recordings as proof that Samson's confession was coerced. I need to turn my music up a little bit. And you know what? It almost worked. A cop named Ian Seidman got fired. Samson's interrogator and the initial detective before the bad. He took the fall for pretty much the whole thing. But Von Karma didn't get away scot-free. In fact, he was disciplined by the chief prosecutor for the one and only time in his 40-year career. Oh yeah, that's when he got his penalty. Still, Samson himself couldn't stomach another day in court. So when that guilty verdict came down, it didn't just signal the end of that day, but of the whole sad affair. I don't remember a lot myself, but my father's face when they declared Mr. Tangaroa guilty. I was a young child at the time, but even I could tell how much it was hurting inside. Gregory wanted to appeal the ruling, of course. He would have done anything to clear Samson's name. But then, well, you know what happened next. Poor guy, he never got the chance. Oh god, I should have left with him that day. I always blame myself for not doing that. But I shoved that aside and obsessed over something else. Or rather, someone else. I hated what you did. Hated you for choosing to stick with Von Karma. Okay, now I feel bad for Eddie. I hope you can forgive me. No, you had every right to hate me. I went out to become a prosecutor as planned, and that's when Mr. Von Karma showed me this case file. According to these records, Mr. Tangaroa was convicted as the main culprit in Mr. Frost's murder. No, that's not right. Samson was convicted as an accessory to murder. Strange. The file clearly states that he was the perpetrator. Plus, I'm fairly certain that all of Mr. Von Karma's cases were successfully solved. Mind if I take a peek at those? This file's been doctored. The part about the verdict, it's been changed. What? Here, feast your peepers on this. What? Convicted as an accomplice. That's a copy of the file they have on record at the courthouse. Oh, well, then why is my copy so different? Maybe Von Karma managed to get, like, the verdict changed? But then why wouldn't Eddie know about it? At the very least. Well, you said it came from Von Karma, yeah? My guess is he didn't want Gregory's son thinking there was a murderer out there still at large. Then when you're looking into it again before the statute of limitations was up. Oh shit, the statute of limitations will be up by now. Because it's like, in the Ace Attorney universe, it's like 15 years. So it would definitely be up by now. So everything I believed about the case was a lie? Like they say, we all gotta start somewhere. What's important is that you know what's what now. The statute of limitations may have run out, but the truth's still out there, you know. I inherited Samson's case when your old man passed. Prosecution handed it off to somebody else too. The great Von Karma wasn't going to bother facing off against a rookie like me, was he? Anyway, long story short, the killer was never found, and Samson was found guilty instead. That's terrible. Is there really nothing we can do to help him? Not without the real perp, I'm afraid. Until then, his confession stands. Speaking of which, I didn't find out until after the verdict had been handed down, but Von Karma had threatened Samson and made him a deal. Told him if he didn't confess, he'd make sure Judy was convicted instead. How could he? Samson knew there was no way Judy could have done it, of course. But he wasn't going to take any chances. So he did what he was told and confessed to keep her safe. I mean, we kind of did suspect Judy, but like, there wasn't like, I don't think there was any like concrete proof. Like, with the IS-7 incident, I was still like, kind of, what's the word? Like unsure on who was the actual killer. Cause like, towards the end of last stream, when we were like, kind of like, oh, maybe the true culprit is actually Judy. I was thinking in the back of my mind, it could have still been Skull though. Like, I was still, like, usually with Ace Attorney cases, I'm like always like, by at least halfway through the case, I'm like, oh yeah, this person definitely, usually by like halfway through the case, or at least at the very latest, 3/4 through the case, I'm always like, oh yeah, this guy definitely did it. This person definitely murdered the victim. But by like towards the end of the last stream, I was like, okay, I still have my suspicions about Scone, but Judy is our main suspicion now. And there could be like someone else that could have, you know, killed Frost, you know. Now riddle me this, Mousy boy. Why do you think your Uncle Eddie just happened to be in the prison the day Bronco Knight died? That's right. You were there to see Mr. Tangaroa. Bingo. Judy and I both promised we'd visit him every day. I didn't quite keep that promise, but Judy did. She never missed one visit in all these years. Come rain or shine, she always shows up. But none of that changes the fact that Samson is still being unduly punished day after day. Oh shit. How heartbreaking. We've got to do something, Mr. Fender. Yeah, we've got to do something, but like, the statute of limitations has got to be up by now. That means case closed, right? Unless there's some big like revelation in the case, you know. And it's like, I mean, we still have the files. Like, I'm assuming like Eddie still has his files. I'm assuming because he gave us kind of the original. He just showed us like the original case files and the original verdict, and we still have Von Karma's original, like Von Karma's version of the case file. So yeah, I'm guessing we still have the case files. So like we need to basically, our goal here is to make sure that Tangaroa gets free. That's our main aim. Well, kiddo, that's actually why we came here. The ice sculptures are back on display, just like they were all those years ago. And we're going to see what they can find, or what we can find out. Right, Mauserano? I'm a prosecutor, Fender. I don't look at these things in the same way as you or my father, Miles. But that doesn't matter right now. Speaking not as a prosecutor, but as Miles Edgeworth. I want to know the truth behind both of these cases, and I'm not leaving until I do. You really are old Gregory's son through and through. Alrighty then, now that that's sorted, we can really get to work. Good thing I brought the IS-7 case file and evidence with me today, huh? Here, documents first. Who doesn't love paperwork, am I right? The parts in red ink are my annotations. Why don't we look at that actually? Thank you, Fender. And here's some evidence for you. Enjoy. Here, there's quite a few, so I'd take a minute to scope them out if I were you. Wait, I'm getting all of Gregory's, all the evidence we had from Gregory's, from when we were playing as Gregory. Do we have all of Gregory's evidence now? Yeah, I see. I'll take a look at them in a bit. No, take a look at them now. Okay, I think we do. Yeah, so we have Miles' prosecutor badge. There's the IS-7 incident case file. Yeah, so the statute of limitations expired 3 years ago on December 24th. So location, Tangaroa's mansion, so where we are now. December 24th, 18 years ago, so the statute of limitations is definitely up. Murder weapon, rock salt lamp. Prosecutor Von Karma, defense attorney Gregory. Suspect data. Organizer of confectionery contest. Victim's body was found inside one of his creations leading to his arrest. While in detention, Tangaroa discovered that he had a taste disorder, which was subsequently cured via medication. Oh yeah, because he couldn't really taste salty things at the time. He was convicted as an accomplice based on his confession. Also, and then there's victim data, also known as Artie Frost, also known as Paul Halleck, under which name he was a renowned sculptor in France. Contestant in the confectionery contest, the body was discovered in Tangaroa's room. Cause of death was blood loss following a blow to the head. There was also no detailed autopsy report due to the body going missing. And this is the picture of the body, which I have said, when we found the body at the end of last stream, I was like, oh, that is definitely Frost's body, right? And I'm thinking, I actually just kind of while I was like looking over that victim part of the case file, I was just thinking that the decaying process could have been delayed, because basically, from what I remember, the temperature in the rooms, in each of the 4 rooms, could be controlled. So if they take it down to a low enough temperature, then the decaying process would be delayed, and there wouldn't be any noticeable smell. Now, what's the point at which what's the like minimum temperature you need for a body to be delayed? Minimum temperature for decaying of a body to be delayed. Alga mortis. Alga mortis is when it's like, oh wait, I don't know, I think they've said it before. Let me see. Typically, morticians keep mortuary coolers between 36 and 39 Fahrenheit. So let's go with the middle. So let's go with 37.5. 37.5 Fahrenheit to Celsius. That's 3 degrees, and wasn't one of the rooms kept at 3 degrees? I think one of them were kept at 3 degrees. We've also got the gallery pamphlet. We've looked at this. We looked at this a bunch last stream. We've got the Winter Wing, which matched the statues made by the victim 18 years ago, but the statues at that time had melted, so I'm guessing these are remakes. Then we've got the used blowtorch, the luminous cloth, which we haven't examined yet. Really. We've got some buttons here. These must be the switches that change the colour of the cloth. Let's see if they work. Oh, they do. Well, the cloth has certainly changed colour. It's glowing with a pale blue hue, and according to Detective Gumshoe, this is what it looked like when it was still draped over that statue. Indeed. But what does that have to do with the case? I don't know. And then we've got the Pisces statue, depicted by, well, the Pisces statue sketch depicted by, well, made by Larry, and this was the, I can't remember what it's called, the ubiquium. The ubiquium was on the top of this glass here, but someone used blowtorch. I can't remember who we suspected. Oh yeah, we said there was the what's his name, Gusto. We said Gusto used blowtorch here on the top of the on the lid here to, cause the ubiquium was basically on like the bottom of the lid, so he used the blowtorch to basically make it like not freeze, melt, because it was frozen and stuck to the top, and then it dripped down to here, and then someone put the asphyxiant, which was like part of this like rat-killer poison, I think. It was like a rat-killer poison put in here and turned into a gas, and then some of it I think might have just liquidized because of the such low temperature that's in these rooms. And yeah, it's a pool of liquid there. And then got poison gas ingredients, ubiquium and asphyxiant. Then got the ultimate cookbook, which was basically, we thought it was like an actual cookbook, but no, it's for like pharmaceutical shit, like medications and formulas and treatments and, you know, cures and shit. Then we got the framed finger marks left by someone in Tangaroa's room who we suspected to be Scone, but there's no fingerprints, and I don't think she was wearing gloves, so she would have left fingerprints, but we don't know yet. Then we got the salt lamp, which was the murder weapon. Oh, that looks like a handprint, actually. That looks like a handprint, does it not? I've just realised that. because we didn't really fully examine it when we first found it. But yeah, that's assault weapon, that's the murder weapon. With Frost's blood, and then we've got a photo of Frost, Gusto, and then their kids. Gusto's son would, you know, go with his dad to the competition throughout the semi-final, but his son didn't come to the finals, basically. And then we've got the people in this case, Eddie, our kind of the person we're assisting, basically. Larry, who found Gusto. This is Gusto, by the way. When he collapsed out of the Autumn Wing. Gumshoe, our detective. Bad was the previous detective. A detective that was investigating IS-7. And then we got Kay, our assistant. And then we got Verity Gavel, a court judge and member of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence, who is always attempting to take our badge away. And then we've got Scone, the pharmacist, basically. And then we've got Eustace Winner, another prosecutor, who has literally just become a prosecutor because he's about to become a prosecutor, seeing as though he's 17 and still wearing the famous Legal Academy uniform. And I got Frost, who's the victim, and then Samson Tangaroa, who is the suspect and is now serving out the we didn't talk about Judy, who is Tangaroa's assistant. But yeah, Tangaroa is the suspect that was convicted, and we think was wrongfully convicted, basically. Shut up, Windows. I don't give a shit. Ooh. You know, our current case is just full of loose threads too, come to think of it. Indeed, the key players of that incident 18 years ago who just happened to get caught up in another incident at the exact same place. The ice sculptures in the Winter Wing are that are perfect replicas of the ones from 18 years ago. The poison gas attack in the Autumn Wing, which has been disguised to look like the Winter Wing. There are two chemicals that were found inside the Pisces statue display case, ubiquitous and asphyxiant, that form a poisonous gas when mixed together. The victim of the gas attack, Camelo Gusto, who is no stranger to the events of 18 years ago, and who is still unconscious and undergoing treatment in the medical room. And that is Artie Frost's body. And finally, we come to the body floating face down in the fountain. And the fact that the ice sculptures have melted, just as they did all those years ago. And thank you, Skippy, for the raid. I was about to say follow them, but no, raid. Thank you for the raid. Hello. Welcome on in. How was your stream? How was your stream? How you guys doing? Hope your stream went well. Nice and chill, thank you. Of course. If you guys don't know me, if you guys are new here, hi, I am Poppy. I'm in a small streamer Discord with Scooby, and I'm a variety streamer. But currently, like, the main games that I play are the Ace Attorney games. Currently, we're on the Investigations duology. We're on Prosecutor's Gambit, which is the second game. And it's just released like back in September, so like 2 months ago. And yeah, I also play a few other games as well. I also play Minecraft. I'm on a new SMP called Chaoscraft. I haven't streamed on it yet, but I do have a video that's gonna come out. I don't know when. I need to release the last bit of content for the last SMP I was on, which is Ozwork. I also play a few other games other than Minecraft and Ace Attorney, like Sims, Sticky Business. I also recently started playing the Rusty Lake games. We've played through Underground Blossom, Samsara Room, and what was the last one? Cube Escape Paradox, which we still need to get all the achievements for Cube Escape Paradox. So I'm probably gonna do some achievement hunting streams for those, just like I did a few years ago. Not last year. Yeah, last year. Like I did last year for Franbo and Little Misfortune. But yeah, welcome in everybody, and thank you again to Scooby for the raid. And I'm gonna get back to a bit of Ace Attorney. We're currently on Turnabout Legacy, so if you don't want to be spoiled, then you can probably go and watch the first, or if you're just kind of confused and where I'm at the story, you can. I have my 2 previous VODs where I started this case up on YouTube. I literally posted my VOD from Friday, like 10 minutes before stream. But yeah, you can go watch those if you want, and then maybe come back and watch this. I don't mind, but if you don't care about spoilers, I'm happy to have you here. Thank you again, guys. And the fact that the ice sculptures have melted, just as they did all those years ago. The events of the present day would appear to be intimately linked with the events of the past, which means they may be able to help us learn more about what happened 18 years ago. Sounds good to me. Let's get investigating. What? Oh no, you don't. Are you forgetting somebody? I could have sworn this is my investigation. Oh, shut up, Eustace. Eustace is quite right. I do hope you aren't intending to obstruct him in his duties, Mr. Edgeworth. This guy could go fuck off, honestly. Let's just do our own investigation, please. I'd hate to have to add a guilty to my report to the committee. What am I guilty of now? Of course not. I'm simply offering once again to do what I can to help with this investigation. Your offer is duly noted and duly declined. Fuck off, Verity. You are so annoying. Please just let us do this to investigate the true, suspect of IS9 and why the body is in the fucking fountain. She isn't pulling any punches. The identity of the body from the fountain is currently being ascertained, because currently I suspect that the body actually belonged to Artie Frost. But the thing is, Artie Frost actually died 18 years ago, and that case is referred to as IS9. Not IS9, IS7. If you ever heard me calling it IS9, just know it's actually IS7. I was doing it all last stream as well. But yeah, he died. But I still suspect that, he is the body in the fountain. I'm going to have some dinner, but have a lovely stream. All right. I'll see you around, Scooby. Go have a lovely tea, or whatever you're having beer. Thanks for the raid again. But yeah, the problem with my theory about it being Artie Frost is again, he died 18 years ago. But then again, the temperature of the rooms, because we are at the place where he was killed, the temperature of each, the majority of the rooms, can be controlled. Now, and it, I just looked at a bit online, and mortuaries usually have their, apparently mortuaries in America at least usually have their fridges or wherever they keep bodies kept at around 37 Fahrenheit, which is 3 Celsius. Though it might have to be a little bit colder, because the body would have had to be kept in these rooms in perfect condition for 18 years. Granted, this is Ace Attorney, so they could have fudged some of the details, and they could have game logic. But the last time I said video game logic to an Ace Attorney case was it Dual Destinies or Spirit of Justice? It was Spirit of Justice, because it was the magical turnabout, I think. Wait, was magical turnabout in Spirit of Justice? I don't remember if it was Dual Destinies or Spirit of Justice. But in the magical turnabout, I said game so basically, one of there was multiple contracts with Trucy's signature on it, and these signatures were perfectly the same. And I noticed this, and I said in the stream when we were playing it, oh, the signatures are exactly the same across these, like, I think it was like 3 contracts, like 2 or 3 contracts. Yeah, it was 3 contracts. And I was like, oh, these are the same signature. These are like these signatures, even though they are Trucy signatures, they in real life those would be different, but they are the same. And I was like, the Trucy signature was exactly the same. Trucy's signature was exactly the same across all 3 contracts. And I just said, oh, video game logic, whatever. Turns out that was actually a major clue in that case to prove that, like, Retton's the, like, culprit of the murder. I can't remember who was killed. But he was committing contract fraud because basically he had this like special piece of paper, I don't know what it's called, under the actual contracts that Trucy was supposed to sign. Because for context, Trucy is a magician. She signs for like her performances and shit. So she like signs contracts to perform at places. So she thought she was signing 1 contract when actually she was signing 2. So yeah, that was actually a major point in the case. So we're not ruling out video game logic entirely, but I'm still calling video game logic for now until they actually call it out about it being, I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, I'm still calling video game logic for now in terms of the temperature of the rooms, but we'll get there when we get there. Basically, it is only a matter of time until we have all the information we need. Perhaps I can help you speed that process along. I think I have an idea of who our mystery victim might be. What, really? Then you have to tell me. It's the law. Very well. Maybe it isn't just the ice sculptures that have resurfaced after 18 years. The body in the fountain may also be a visitor from the past, and that'll be Ice Frost. I believe the body in the fountain is that of the man who was murdered here 18 years ago, Mr. Artie Frost. What? You're saying that was poor Chillywinks? Wait. Who the hell is Chillywinks or Artie or whoever it is you're talking about? Artie Frost was a famous sculptor, Eustace. Although he was better known as Paul Hercule. The sculptures on display here are all his works. No way. Sounds like he did well for himself. Always good to encounter a fellow winner. Except he spent all his money on his artworks and was actually not that well off. Mr. Frost was also the victim in the IS-7 incident. Judge Gavelle knows about the IS-7 incident. I mean, I assume she has like a basic knowledge of a lot of cases, seeing as though she's a judge. Mr. Edgeworth, the IS-7 incident is an 18-year-old case, and according to police records, the victim's body was recovered and an autopsy duly carried out. Sure, that's what the records say, but the records can't always be trusted. What are you insinuating? That while the records say stuff like body totally recovered, the defense back then begged to differ. Not that it stopped the prosecution from shutting them down in the heart, of course. Verity is a very, suspicious person. Yeah, this is Winner. What? Really? What is it, Eustace? The body? We've got an ID. Some sculptor named called Frost or something. So I guess Edgeworth called it? Goddess of Justice! So my father's deductions were right after all along. Well, Judge Gavelle, I'd say this changes things, wouldn't you? Perhaps now you'll admit that I might be of use to this case? More than a certain junior prosecutor, anyway. No fair, you're trying to steal the win. Okay, that was a little bit harsh. I'm doing no such thing. All I want is to uncover the truth. And if we're going to get to the bottom of what happened here, we'll need to work together. We do not need to do anything, and you do not need to know the truth. This case is none of your concern. Well, it is of concern. Seeing as though he worked on the IS-7 case. Artie being the victim of that case. Well then, Judge G, I think you might be wrong about that. Another of your interruptions, Mr. Fender? Yep, see, I was on the defense team for IS-7, so this case is very much my concern. I was one of the pesky kids pushing the theory that the body had actually gone missing. The prosecutor at the time may have brushed us off, but you can't deny the testimony of your eyes. Or to put it a little more bluntly, the prosecution's case was wrong from the ground up. When there's been a miscarriage of justice caused by the prosecution, it's the committee's job to fix it, no? And who better to help you unpick the mess than someone who was there at the time? Unless you have an ulterior motive. Judge Gavelle seems to know the facts of the IS-7 incident in some detail, in which case, I suspect she must be here on the committee's behalf. Your connection to the case is noted, Mr. Fender, but I fail to see how it concerns Mr. Edgeworth. He is the son of the original defense attorney and the protege of the case's lead prosecutor. And if that's not enough for you, he was at the trial too. I think it's just possible he might have a little something to bring to the table, don't you? Yeah. Very well. You may both assist in the investigation, but only if you refrain from interfering with the work of others. The winter wing is off limits for now. This room, however, is all yours. Alrighty, great to hear we're on the same wavelength, G. Why don't we bring it in to show we're all on the same side of justice? No. Do not test me, Mr. Fender. Your permission to investigate can be revoked at any time. Duly noted, Your Honor. This is a turn up for the box, Her Mousy. We get to do our thing after all. Thanks to your immeasurable help as always. No sweat. Besides, I was mostly doing it for me. Okay. I'll be investigating my own thing, so I'll just holler if you'll find something interesting. I will. So it seems like whenever we play as one of the Edgeworths, that, like, Fender never follows us. Like, it's always K. Like, he followed, did he follow us in Captive Turnabout? I don't remember. I think he might have. No, I know Kay followed us around for a little bit in the courtyard. But yeah, it doesn't seem Fender is like much of like someone that follows people around, you know? Like when we were playing as Gregory, it was mainly Bad that was following us around, not Eddie, which is something to kind of take note of who Eddie is as a person, I guess. But it's kind of like a slight like lone wolf, I guess. Despite how he may come off, you know, like he's saying, like, oh, bring it in for a hug, mate. You know. Okay, shall we? Heck yeah, let the investigation commence. We're still unclear on two key facts. How Mr. Frost's body came to be where we found it and the source of the ubiquium. You're right, we need some more intel. Indeed, let's focus on the ubiquium first and foremost. It's used in stuff like dish soap and paint, right? Correct. It's also bright red in color and has a distinctive minty fragrance. Okay, sounds like we know what we're looking for. Begin investigation. Okay, I kind of want to... Let's look at here. It seems the police have already removed the body. But why did the body of a victim from 18 years ago turn up in this fountain? And why wasn't it all rotten and stuff? Did it slowly shuffle its way here? Need I remind you that zombies aren't real? It seems likely that the body was preserved somehow. Really? Is that even possible? Hey, Mr. Forensics guy. Anything to report? Yes, ma'am. Traces of both ubiquium and asphyxiant have been detected in the fountain. I'm going to say that they were probably carried here by the stream from the autumn wing. In addition to those two chemicals, there's also a large amount of sugar. The composition of the sugar is being analysed as we speak. There's sugar in the fountain? Where would it even have come from? I mean, maybe from the missing chocolate. Why is there stain on the floor? From the colour and aroma, I'd say this is a puddle of spilt tea. And look, there's a small chunk of ceramic on it. pH. Which was... That's Paul Helicue's stamp, as far as I remember. I guess somebody must have broken something. I know that insignia, and a certain high-strung somebody just might know a little something about that too. Yeah. Let's look over here at the car and the tea. Miss Brown's tea set is laid out neatly on the serving cart. The pamphlet says the gallery is famous for its tea. Understandably so, the cups were given. The cup we were given was delicious. Looks like all this stuff was designed by Mr. Frost. Interesting. In that case, I think we'd better take a closer look. Yeah, I guess so. So this dishware was made by Artie Frost. It looks very fancy. Oh, it is. I'm willing to bet that this set can fetch something in the thousands of dollars. So let's try not to touch any of it, unless we absolutely have to. Whoa, this stuff's really worth that much? Stop it, Kay. I can see your eyes lighting up. Miss Bound must be a real fan of Mr. Frost, like Fender said to still have this. Yeah. Hey, Edgy. Oh, that's Larry. What is it? You be careful with that teapot you hear. Okay. Why is Larry so concerned all of a sudden? I mean, he is kind of an artist. Is he in love with Judy? I mean, that wouldn't be surprising. But still. Honored guests. I can pour you a cup if you like. Miss Bound. Ah, Judy. I'm good, thanks. No tea for me. You two knock yourselves out. Thank you for the offer. Yeah, why not? A quick break won't hurt. 2 cups are coming right up. I'm guessing it was Larry that, you know, split the tea. This smells great. Well, it tastes even better than it smells. What type of tea is this, Mr. Edgeworth? It's Ceylon, I believe. It's usually identifiable by its citrus aroma, but Miss Bound, is this the same blend you served us this morning? Why, yes. Is it alright? There isn't anything wrong with it, is there? Oh no, not at all. It's just that the cup you gave me earlier had a slightly different aroma. Really? That's odd. I used the exact same blend both times. I can't see why I could account for the difference. It was a big idea. Quit being mean about Judy's tea, you hear? What's gone under your skin, Larry? Nothing. You're just rude, that's all. You don't even try to call me by the right name. It's Laurice Donham, dang it. You know what? I'm done. I'm not talking to you anymore. Well, that was childish, even for him. Wow, what happened there? Let's ask him about it later, shall we? Talking to Miss Bound is more of a priority right now. We may not have any evidence to prove that she's the culprit, but it does seem likely that the poison gas was her doing. Wait, didn't we say... Wait, let me see. Something was like a minty aroma. Didn't we say something was like a minty aroma earlier? I don't remember what it was though. I don't know. Let's continue investigating this. Don't believe there's anybody to be found here. Investigate that. Guess it's like the silverware. I guess. And then this. A caddy containing Ceylon tea leaves. It's a well-crafted tin canister designed to prevent moisture and sunlight from damaging its contents. Not a bad thing to use considering the quality of the blend Miss Bound serves. And I guess there's no point investigating the like spoons. And where's Larry? There he is. I'm going to keep this simple, Larry. You're hiding something, so just tell me what it is. We're gonna ask him about the smashed cup of tea. Wow, quit with the glare of you two, it's weird. Oh, come on, Kay, you know me better than that. I wasn't staring, I was struck by an idea for a picture. Now, Edgy. He was glaring. You were glaring as well. Yeah, and I'll keep glaring at you until you tell us what it is you're hiding. Quit it, I already told you I'm not talking to you anymore. You're talking to me right now. I mean, from now on, I'm not talking to you every time. Now. This is getting me nowhere. I suppose I have to figure out what he's hiding first before I can get the whole truth out of him. I know what he's hiding. Not that. Present. Would you mind taking a look at this for me, Larry? Why'd you show me that? Tell me, what is it about Miss Bound's tea set that's got you so agitated? You won't tell me, then perhaps you prefer to explain it to Judge Cabell. Hey, don't make me look so bad in front of Verity. She thinks I'm a sensible, cool, clean-cut guy. Yeah, no. I don't want her to see the real me, the real low-down, dirty me. I'm not so sure everybody thinks you're particularly clean-cut, Larry. But if you don't want her to think badly of you, the best thing you can do is talk to me. Alright, I'll talk. What are you hiding? Alright, Larry. Enough is enough. Now confess. Is there any way to treat your best friend, AJ? Is this any way for you to treat yours? By lying to him? Hiding things? I got the picture already, so stop glaring at me like that. I'll tell you everything, okay? Earlier, I thought Verity might like a cup of tea, so I went to pour one for her. But I got distracted and my hand slipped and smashed. But I broke the teapot. I priced this little work of art. It's in pieces because of me. No words exist to describe how far away I saw this coming from. Ouch, you really messed up this time, Laurice. See, Edgy, everyone's gonna think less of me now. Larry, this was to be expected. He's a dumbass. What did we expect? Honestly. Julie's never gonna forgive me for this. Crying to me won't do you any good. I think you need to apologize to Miss Bound. My teapot? I see. I'm sorry, Judy. I'm so sorry. I don't have any money, but I'll pay you portrait. I'll pay you 50 portraits. Please, Mr. Donut. It's really me who should be apologizing. How could I have failed to notice that there were broken pieces of ceramics on the floor? Somebody could have been hurt. Here, let me make sure that's safely disposed of. The teapot in question was designed by Artie Frost, correct? I understand it was something you've long treasured. You must be upset. Oh, I am. But of course, all things break eventually. And as luck would have it, I have another identical teapot. It's far from the end of the world. Is she less attached to Mr. Frost's work than she used to be? I mean, I assume she's attached to it. Just that she's attached to it in the way that like she has multiple. So that if one breaks, then it's not a big issue, you know. I can't believe this, Judy. You're the sweetest, the kindest. This other teapot you're talking about. It's the one sitting on the top of the car right now, right? What do you mean? Yeah, so when I smashed the first one, I tried to hide the pieces in the bottom of the car. And that's when I saw that other pot under there, so I took it out and basically switched the two pots. Oh, wait! Oh, wait! Is the switch teapots making the teas taste, making the tea that, basically, Judy thought that she had said the same tea, but the tea in the original, what about the tea in the, basically, I think the tea in the pot that Larry broke was different to the one he replaced. I see. Yep, and that's everything I have to tell you. I'll be extra careful not to break the other one, I promise. You have no shame whatsoever, do you? That's It's really quite alright. Thank you for being so honest. See, isn't Judy the absolute best? I just want to take advantage of her kindness and will make amends somehow. I sure will. Want to make it as an artist, I'm going to give her one of her paintings. She was one of my models after all. It's only fair. At this rate, I suspect he's likely to make more trouble than amends. Don't you think it would be better for you to keep out of her way for a very long while? Oh, but I will be keeping out of her way, because I sketched her and the others already. Her and the others? Keen to see my work? Yeah, I drew a few great sketches of some ravishing beauties. Want to see? Interested in Laurice's ravishing beauty, sir, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm afraid you've greatly misjudged Kay. I simply wish to see if Larry has captured any unusual details this time too. Unusual details? Nothing's unusual about these. They're my best work, yeah. To be fair, whenever we've seen Larry's sketches before, they've been vital, like pieces of evidence, because like in Bridge to the Turnabout, that was a vital piece of evidence to say, oh, Alice Donham's, aka Misty Faye's, body had been swung under the bridge to the other side, and that's how it got to the other side of the bridge. Really? Now I want to assume too. Oh, you're such a sweetheart, okay? Alright, let me dig them out for you. Give me a sec, okay? I suppose we might as well take a look. Okay, let's ask him about the sketches then. So these sketches of yours, seriously, Edgy, if you I wanted to check out my art, you should have just said so from the get-go. Here, feast your eyes on this. Okay, there's Judy with her chocolates. There's Verity with, you know, that cape looks, I feel like that cape is like shorter than her actual cape, but no matter. And then there's Scone washing, I'm guessing, her luminous cloth for some reason. What am I looking at here? I told you already, ravishing beauties. Just a few of the fair faces that have caught my eye since I've been here, you know. There's Verity and Judy and somebody else. Why did you draw them all on the same page? Well, I went to draw the room first, but just something to pass the time. And then I saw one beauty and another, and well, I just scribbled them all down as I went. So these were all drawn at different times? Huh? Yeah, I guess. I didn't want to view 2K. You're on a different page, though. Why, you did? I'm flattered. How true to life are these sketches? Did you only draw what you actually saw? Of course, you think I draw things I can't see? Like using my imagination? Nope. These are 100% true to life, right down to the exact shade of each colour. So the colours are accurate. Interesting. Much as it pains me to admit it, Larry may have provided me with a useful piece of evidence yet again. Okay. There have been multiple cases where Larry has provided us with evidence. The ones I can think of off the top of my head would be Bridge to Turnabout, Time Traveler, and now this case. So that's like at least 3 cases where his artistic ability has come in clutch, basically. The 7 card in the sketch, for example. If I compare it to the one here in the other room, there's a clear contradiction between the two. I think a little deduction is in order. Could I borrow this page for a while, Larry? Sure thing. You want me to sign it for you? Just a page, please. Okay, I've got Larry's sketches in our organizer. Okay, so I wanted to connect, actually. The switch teapots. Oh, wait, minty fragrance. Tea smells different. Switch teapots. Sour tea. Oh. I feel like this might be wrong. Oh, it's right. Oh, okay. I suspect the difference in the aroma we noticed is due to the teapots having been switched. You do? I can't see what else it could have been. The tea itself hadn't changed. Why don't we ask Miss Bound just to be sure? Miss Bound, the difference in aroma we noticed. Do you think it could have been because of a different teapot? I suppose so. My cup just now had a subtle minty scent. Rather like uva tea. Oh, I just remembered. I made some peppermint tea in that pot only yesterday. That must be where the minty aroma is coming from. Wait a minute. Could that really be it? Wait a minute. Ubiquium is a red liquid with a minty fragrance. Could there be ubiquium in the tea? Excuse me, Judy. Let's examine this. The tablecloth draped over the car is pure white and completely spotless. It's just waiting for me to grab it by the edge, clear my mind, and whoosh. Okay, I cannot stress enough how bad of an idea that would be. Oh, come on, what's the worst that can happen? And in 5 minutes, by the way. Even if it does go all sideways, we'll just wind up with a cool tea-coloured tie-dye. Yeah, well, I'd rather it remained white. Plus, I don't think Miss Bound would appreciate us meddling with it. Really? But there are so many other colours that would totally work. Pink, sky blue, tea leaf brown. Tea leaves brown. Wait a minute. Let me look at his sketch. That's blue, right? I mean, granted, that just could be a different car altogether. You know, with the it could just be 2 different carts, one with tea on and one with chocolates on, but still. So let's deduce there on the tablecloth. Could this be related to the evidence somehow? Yes. Larry's sketches. Larry, could I ask you something about your sketches? Fascinated by the work of the great Laurie Stoneham, huh? It's a composition, right? Not exactly. This light blue tablecloth, you painted that exactly as you saw it, correct? I already told you, everything is exactly as I saw it. But the tablecloth on the cart here in this room is white. Wow. Your head's so full of crazy fairies, the simple stuff just passes you right by, huh? What's that look for? Listen, just provide you that sketch. I was in the middle of some business with the cart with the tea set on it. Right, okay. What kind of business? That's right, it was hiding the pieces of the teapot I smashed kind. That's nothing to boast about. Anyway, I was still in the middle of cleaning it all up when Judy came out of the window wing. I didn't wanna get busted for breaking the teapot, so I quickly dove out of sight. Wait, Miss Bound came out of the window wing. Yeah, and she was pushing a cart, a different one. That's the one with the light blue tablecloth on it that I drew. Yeah, like I said, different car. Oh my god, yeah, I'm here again. Welcome back in, Butts. How you doing? How you doing? And what did she do with this second servant car? Well, I saw her wheel it into the summer wing. I don't know what happened to it after that. When she came back out, she was pushing one of those other cars, the kind you can lift stuff with. A lift car? Yeah, so I called out to her, but she just ran off and left it behind. Never had her down as the shy type, but it just goes to show, you never know. Another servant car and a lift car. Is there maybe another tea set too? We better check with Miss Bound. Thinking. Teapot's leftover aroma and the minty fragrance. What if the ubiquitous was in the teapot? I was about to say, hopefully Edgeworth and Kay haven't drank some of it. Then I remember that like ubiquitous is like, as far as I remember, ubiquitous by itself is like completely harmless. So if they drank some of it, then like nothing would happen. The tea from the teapot Larry switched in from under the cart smelled faintly of mint. Right, Miss Bound said she used that pot to make peppermint tea yesterday. Yeah, but there's something else that's been troubling me. Miss Bound seemed more taken aback by the switching of the teapots than the breaking of one. You're right, you'd expect it to be the other way around. I suspect she might have been deliberately hiding the teapot underneath the cart. But why? One of Ubiquitous' key characteristics is its minty fragrance. So what if she had been hiding some in that teapot? What, in the teapot? It's simply a possibility, but one worth investigating. Mr. Winner, any luck finding that ubiquitous? My people are searching the entire gallery, but they haven't found anything yet. And what about you? Don't tell me you know what it came from. I may have an idea. I know if I can't find it, then there's no chance. A useless what? You do know where it came from? Yeah. Where? Miss Brown's teapot. Wow, nice piece. I like it. Yeah, this looks like a famed priest for a natural born winner. It's not a prize. It's a vital piece of evidence. Oh, it's just evidence? Then I'll have one of the forensics people check it out. Alright, forensics man. Forensics, do you think? Mr. Edgeworth, is there some sort of problem with my teapot? Possibly. The many fragrance we noticed coming from it. I think it might just be the scent of one of the chemicals used to make the poison gas. But Mr. Edgeworth, surely you don't think I had anything to do with that? I'm afraid I do. Yeah, we can't rule you out just yet. Einstein, by the way. The method used to create the gas would have required considerable preparation. Nobody would have had the time or opportunity to set that up, except you. That's not strictly true. It took around a week to get Zodiac Hall ready for the exhibition. There were all kinds of people coming and going through here during that time. Delicia, for one. See, I'm not the only person who could have set it all up. Miss Scone is on our radar too, of course. You needn't worry about that. And besides, I wouldn't know the first thing about making poison gas. So even if you did find some ubiquitous in my teapot, I wouldn't have any idea what to do with it. But I suppose we should see what the test results say first. Miss Brown claims she doesn't know the first thing about making poison gas. I need to find a way to prove that she's lying. And the ad is in progress. So we'll take a little break and moisturize my hands first. And I'll need to take a drink of it as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Judy. Like, usually with Ace Attorney, like, culprits, they're acting a lot more, like, suspicious, I guess. Like, in a way that it's like, oh yeah, this person is definitely guilty. But, like, I don't know. She doesn't seem guilty. Like, I feel like, but then again, she doesn't seem totally innocent. I feel like I feel like for her, maybe she's guilty of being an accessory rather than committing murder. Like, I feel like she's maybe her and Scone killed a guy. Maybe she's just an accessory, but I feel like this also may just be like a red herring in a way. So yeah. I'm not sure. Let me think. Who else could be guilty? I feel like they're kind of making Scone and Judy to look guilty on purpose. Like maybe Gusto was somehow involved, but we don't know, seeing as he's unconscious. So, and like, I think, and like, he was the one who tried to. I think he was the one that tried to melted the ubiquium, and that was in the. I think it was in the Pisces case. I think. Which is definitely suspicious. So, yeah. And welcome back from the ad, everybody. Welcome back from the ad. We were just talking about like who we think could be the actual killer, because I was saying that I feel like they're just using Judy and Scone, that they're making Judy and Scone to look guilty on purpose, and that those two are actually possibly red herrings in a way, and that maybe someone else like Gusto did it someone else entirely murdered Frost, such as Gusto, but Gusto is unconscious right now due to the poison gas that was in the Autumn Wing, so we just don't know yet. I need to find a way to prove that she's lying. Okay, who's calling us? Edward speaking. Sir, it's me. Is everything alright, Detective? Everybody's left the Winter Wing. It's just me in here now, which means I can tell you what we find out. You really shouldn't be sharing information about the investigation, but after the past week or so, I'm not about to stop him now. The exhibits in here have all completely melted. All that's left in the display cases is some stuff at the bottom. More of it in the Taurus case and the Gemini case, though. Describe this stuff to me if you can. Yes, sir. It's like a pale blue liquid. I had the lab run some tests just now. The sample from the Taurus case just had a bunch of sugar in it, but the one from the Gemini case had 3 different substances in it, which were sugar, salt, and blood. Okay, blood. What if salt and blood doing it in the Gemini case's sample? Can't imagine whose blood it could possibly be, but I got it tested right away, sir. And that reminds me that back when we were playing as Gregory last stream, Scone mentioned that she had actually eaten some of Frost's Frost statue. I believe he made the Gemini statue, and like the one that had the lyre on it, and she had eaten like part of the lyre, and it tasted salty for some reason. But Tangaroa, he actually tried some as well, and he said he couldn't like taste the like, he said it tasted fantastic, but he couldn't taste the salt because he had like some sort of taste disorder. Please do, detective. I also spoke over the radio with the forensics guy working at the fountain room. He said he just got word that the sugar they found in the fountain matches the sugar in the pale blue liquid. I see. That might well prove to be a significant development. Okay. Anything else to report, detective? Yes, sir. We found one of those light emitting devices here in the Winter Wing too. There were a few of those being used in the Autumn Wing to disguise it as the Winter Wing, as I recall. It seems that the equipment from 18 years ago is more than just a show. I need to talk to Miss Scone about this. Anyhow, I'd better be getting back. I'll let you know as soon as we hear from the lab about that blood. Yes, thank you, Detective. Didn't we also need to talk to Judy as well? What's that, Gummy? Seemed like he had a lot to say. He did, and all of it was very useful. If I'm going to prove that Miss Bound's claims about who could have set up the poison gas trap are false, I need to talk to a certain somebody else who was here 18 years ago. Yeah, we haven't talked to Judy yet. Where were you before you rejoined us here, Miss Bound? I had to go and tell our visitors were closed. Oh, and hand out a little something in apology. Was there something you wanted to talk to me about? Yeah, a few things, actually. Not least of all, the fact that I think you might be the one who set the poison gas trap. Yeah, we need to talk to her. Are there 2 servant carts here at the gallery, Miss Bound? Yeah. Why do you ask? A certain so-called artist showed us this sketch. I couldn't help but notice the colour of the tablecloth. It's light blue. Light blue? I'm afraid your friend must be mistaken. I only use white tablecloths, freshly laundered and starched. Like the perfect wrinkle-free one on the cart right here in the fountain room, right? Exactly. If I saw so much as a blemish, I would replace it right away. Could the colour of the tablecloth in the sketch simply be a mistake on Larry's part? I mean, he is known for, like, having at least one major mistake in each of his drawings. Like, for example, in Bridge to the Turnabout, basically, when he saw Misty Faye's body being swung under the bridge, he was lying, like, face up. Because, basically, in his cabin, he had a window that directly faced the bridge, and he was facing up. He was, like, lay on his back, so his view was upside down. So he drew the bridge upside down because that's just what he saw. And then, talking about Time Traveler, he thought he saw a pterodactyl, which I don't think it was. I don't remember the context, but yeah. Hello, Muggle. This is one of the perks of using Facecam. I can just see the cat and walk next to me and be like, "Hello, I need to go outside to get water and shit." Okay, I'll let her out. Muggle. Oh shit. Wow. I've got them fucking again. Come on, Mug. There we go. Cat is out now outside. But yeah, I remember when we were playing Turnabout Time Traveler, Larry had a pterodactyl in the window of his sketch, and he had drawn a window. He had drawn a room, and then the room had a window, and there's a pterodactyl in the window. And I don't remember what he mistook the pterodactyl for, or what he mistook as the pterodactyl. Now I'm gonna look it up because I don't remember Larry's I cannot spell pterodactyl sketch. Turnabout Time Traveler. Let me see. It was a piece of a broken map sign which was held around during a raging storm. That was it. It was a map sign. Okay. Could the colour of the tablecloths in the sketch simply be mistaken on Larry's part? Quite possibly. Do you have any idea what you might have been doing when this sketch was drawn? Let me see. I appear to be carrying out my usual duties. I'd like to ask you a little more about these duties, if I may. Your work. What exactly were you doing when this sketch was drawn? Because from what I can see, your card doesn't have a tea set on it. I was delivering some chocolates to the investigating officers. Aw, now I'm jealous. I love chocolate. Well, there were a few left over, so here, for you both. I made them myself. I hope you like them. Woohoo! Thanks, Miss Bound. My nose is clogged and it is so annoying me. Well, why not? They're a little melted, but I suppose that's because they've been sitting around in her pocket. Ooh, okay, chocolate. Oh, I fucking love chocolate. It's super sweet. I love them. I'm very glad to hear it. They may not be the prettiest, but I'm grateful for the energy boost nonetheless. Though perhaps they could do with a little less sugar. Okay, maybe the sugar in the things, in the cases, in the liquid was the same sugar used for Judy's chocolate, because she makes them herself. The original ice sculptures melted 18 years ago, correct? How did you manage to recreate them? Oh, you know about what happened back then? In that case, you might also know I took pictures of them during the contest. I commissioned the creation of a set of replicas based on those photographs for this current exhibit. Why go through the trouble of creating replicas? Mr. Frost's Zodiac series was his great unfinished masterwork. I wanted to see it completed at last, or rather, recompleted. It was my fault that the original set melted in the first place, after all. I see. And is there any particular reason why the winter and autumn wings look so similar? Oh my, you really think they look alike? Perhaps we used some of the decorations from one in the oven by accident? She's clearly lying. I don't have the evidence to prove it just yet. Yeah, that's definitely suspicious, mate. Okay. We don't really have evidence to show her, though, or anything else to talk to her about, so I guess let's go to Scone. Excuse me. Miss Scone, I'd like to ask you a few questions if I may. Of course, dear. Fire away. Anything for you, Mousy Smousy and dear sweet little Tooth Decay? Those are cute little nicknames, actually. I'd appreciate it if that was the last time you called me Mousy Smousy. I'm not a fan of Tooth Decay either. Well, you just have to like them or lump it. I can't change your nickname once I've settled on it. Ugh. I guess you tried. True, Tooth Decay is a little less appealing than Mousy Smousy. She could just call him Smiles though. I feel like Mouse would put up more with Smiles than Mousy Smousy. What can you tell us about the various devices used to decorate the gallery's exhibits? There seems to be some pretty specialized items in use. Light emitting devices, luminous fabrics. Oh, I can tell you all about those, dearie. After all, I'm the one who gave them to Moody Judy. It was my way of saying sorry after I broke the rules all those years ago. I bought her four lovely new salt lamps, and I gave her the 4 pieces of luminous cloth I used for the contest. Oh, that's super generous of you. Well, us girls have to do our best, don't we? Not everybody understands, of course. That better not be a dig at me, Delish. I told you how kind I thought that was. Yeah, back when you were a dear, sweet, innocent baby boy, what happened to you? A dear, sweet, innocent baby boy? Mr. Fender? Can't quite picture that, I have to say. So these decorations, they're all the same as the ones you saw 18 years ago, correct? Yep, salt lamps, glowing fabric, light emitting doodads, the whole bit. There were 4 luminous cloths in use in the autumn wing. But I'm sure I saw another one somewhere. I'm not lying, it's in my bag somewhere, I'm sure of it. What is she looking for? That's not it. And that's not it. Huh? That cloth looks familiar. Maybe I should jog her memory with something, so Miss Scone will tell us more. A luminous cloth, maybe? You had a piece of fabric like this in your bag, did you not, Miss Scone? Albeit a somewhat grimier one. Grimy? How rude! You won't get people to cooperate with your little investigation like that, young man. Jesus Christ. Shall I call that a dish towel then? Perhaps you used it to wipe up some sort of spillage? A spillage, he says. The cheek, that's a piece of highly specialized luminous cloth. I probably shouldn't have told you that. I think I'd like to know a little more about this highly specialized luminous cloth, if you don't mind. Let's ask her about the cloth first, then about making poison gas. Why didn't you want me to know you had a piece of luminous cloth in your bag? Well, I suppose there's no point in hiding it now, is there? If you must know, I fished it out of the fountain. It was right before they called me into the autumn wing. So Larry's sketch of Miss Scone is of when she was trying to retrieve the cloth. At first I thought it was one of the ones I'd given me Judy. One of the 4 you'd given to the gallery, correct? Exactly, but all 4 were being used in the autumn wing, weren't they? So I realised It must be the one that went missing all those years ago. Oh shit, yeah, because there was one missing. Because basically, she had hung up elves in like four parts of the room, and like had luminous cloth above each elf. But there was one piece of luminous cloth missing. So I've got two things now that have resurfaced from 18 years ago. That being the cloth and the body. Not counting the other evidence that Eddie gave us. And I already had my Infesticide Ultra pinched and used to make poison gas. If one of my cloths turned out to have been used in some sort of dastardly deed, well, I was going to look guilty as sin, wasn't I? So I kept it in my bag and hoped for the best. I think you tampering with a crime scene is a little bit more guilty looking than the evidence having belonged to you in the first place. Honestly. I see. Ooh, it does feel good to get it off my chest though. Stress is no good for the complexion. So the cloth that disappeared 18 years ago, the one that the victim was wrapped in, just happens to reappear in the fountain at the same time as the body. Just happens to have reappeared in the fountain. This is, out of all the Ace Attorney games, this is the one I find the most like grammatical errors in. Like every so I feel like it's like once every other stream, where it's like we'll find something that's misspelled or a sentence that just does not make sense. Let me go to history. So the one that the victim was wrapped in just happens to reappear in the fountain at the same time as the body. I feel like it would make sense to just say the one that the victim was wrapped in just happens to reappear in the fountain, or the one that the victim was wrapped in just happens to have reappeared in the fountain. Just saying. I feel like I'm becoming some sort of like grammar police, but like this is the only like collection. I mean, maybe there was like one spelling error in Apollo Justice. That was in the Apollo Justice trilogy, but that was like it. But this is the one where I'm finding the most errors. Like every other collection has had the what's the word? Has had like the grammar and spelling be like mostly correct, but on this one it's like, oh, that's another spelling error. It's like at least one a case. Miss Scone, something of a specialist. How might someone learn to make the poison gas that was used in the attack? Any ideas? Well, any pharmacist who's ever handled Infesticide Ultra would know for a start. After all, it says it right here on the label. Do not mix with products containing ubiquium, ever. But what about a layperson? It's unlikely they know, wouldn't you say? I suppose so, yeah. Well, not unless they had a nose through the Ultimate Cookbook, anyway. The prize from the content 18 years ago. The recipe for making an Infesticide Ultra along with not mixing with ubiquium bit is in there, you know. So you're familiar with the contents of the book? Oh yes dear, I know it inside and out because I work for the Tangaroa group, you see. We're the company behind Cool Killer X. I'm sure you've heard of it. Cool Killer X fights back sniffles and sneezes with ease, apparently. And a certain Phoenix Wright has taken Cool Killer X before. I think one of the titles of one of the titles of one of my VODs references Cold Killer X. I think I literally called it Cold Killer X, but like an E before the X in like brackets in parentheses. Is parentheses the right word? But in brackets. After Sammy People was found guilty, the company took custody of the book. But they only grant their most trusted people to access it, of course. Which means Miss Scone is one of their elites, I suppose. Okay. Who should we talk to next? I guess let's finish talking to all the people involved with SL7. So, Eddie. Hey there, Malzarino. What's the situation with the investigation? Things are progressing. I think a full picture of what happened is beginning to emerge. Good to hear. Guess I better step up my game too then. And I love how kind of Miles does not give a shit when Eddie gives him a nickname. Usually it's like Miles or Reno. But then he's like, oh, I don't do nicknames when it comes to Scone. This case seems to have a lot in common with the incident from 18 years ago. And how? It's got the law. Melted statues in the Winter's Wing and even the murder victim's body. But how did nobody ever figure out that the body had gone missing? Frost had no family apart from his son. And well, the kid kind of vanished. Nobody's seen him since around the time of the incident. Gusto's son too. Him and his best pal from school both just up and disappeared. One they were never found. Gusto's boy wasn't, not as far as I heard anyhow. Guess Frost's kid turned up in the end though. He collected his inheritance at some point. But yeah, with no family around just after the incident, Frost got no funeral, no nothing. So no need for the police to release the body. And no need for anybody to find out they didn't have it. They found their fake autopsy report and nobody was any the wiser. Well, almost nobody. I still can't believe Mr. Von Karma would have stooped so low. Yeah. And that's why it's weird that like two children, because may I remind you, this is what they looked like just before the incident. Two kids just went completely off the radar and missing. I mean, it's possible that they just went into that, like, that, I mean, the most logical explanation for Frost's kid, for Artie's kid would have been, oh, he went into foster care, right? And maybe that a lot of, like, authorities were able to get a hold of him and, like, contact, like, his foster family. Assuming that, like, or like maybe Artie's like wife or someone like took his kid and like just like up and moved to another country, right? Wait, but then again it is implied that like, oh, maybe he didn't have a wife. Because, like, he had, like, no because he literally just said, Eddie just said, like, oh, he had no family other than his son. So, that implies his son was alone. So, the foster family theory was more accurate, I guess. But then, what happened to Gusto's kid? Like, that's weird. That's weird. What did he say? Wait, whose kid was found? Artie's kid, Frost's kid was found, but not Gusto's, which is weird. What did Gusto have something to do with the disappearance of his kid? Tell me, Fanda, what kind of person is Miss Bound? Huh? Wait a minute. Don't tell me you've got a thing for her, Master. I do not. Chill. I'm just yanking your chain. Anyway, what can I say about Jude? Well, she's a real brave trooper for one. What else do you call someone who waits around for 18 whole years like she has for Samson? Even after his extended family kicked her out of this place. What? They threw her out? Yep, Jude wasn't technically a part of the family, so there's nothing she could do. She had nothing, nobody, and no job after Samson took the fall. So she had no choice but to take what he taught her and make her own way in showbiz. She's retired from all that now, though. Yeah, why did she retire? She'd finally made enough to buy the old place back. She even got the ultimate cookbook back from the Tangaroa group after they basically stole it. Guess this place and everything to do with it was all she ever cared about. And so she wanted it back, all of it. Fanda seems very sympathetic to Miss Brown's plight, but from a less charitable perspective, she has, in a way, taken everything of Mr. Tangaroa's for herself. Yeah, I guess. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, this was what Larry said Judy was pushing. Why is there a lift cart just saying how in the open? Guess somebody must have been moving something heavy. The top of the platform seems to be wet. You know, I've got a funny feeling I've seen this thing somewhere before. You mean like 18 years ago? Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. I last saw it in Frost's room. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It must have used it to move the air sculptures around. It's one of those fancy numbers where you can change not only the platform's height, but even its angle. If you had one of these, you could move giant lumps of ice around no sweat. Okay. Oh, just think of the possibilities. I could really use one of these. Still doesn't explain what it's doing here though. Bit of a head scratcher, but we should give it a think, yeah? Indeed. After all, it just might have something to do with our case. Okay. Guess all we can do now is go into logic, because I think we do have some stuff. Yeah, so balance actions and ultimate cookbook. Oh! Look at these descriptions. The ultimate cookbook contains instructions for creating poison gas. That makes Judy look more suspicious now. The ultimate cookbook contains instructions on how to create the poison gas. And the current owner of that book is none other than Miss Judy Bound. No way, you mean? I'm afraid I do. Miss Bound would have been perfectly capable of setting up the gas trap. Finally, we can prove that she's been lying to us. Investigation complete. And that's that. All that's left now is to await the results of the tests on the teapot. Okay, to be continued. Okay, save progress. My webcam is lagging a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's move on. Ooh. Including overload. My OBS was lagging a little bit there. Okay, is everything all good now? Okay. Okay, looks to be all good. Okay, I'm tempted to make this a little bit bigger, because the quality doesn't look that great on here, on stream even. So maybe making it bigger make it look slightly better, but I don't know. Okay, let's continue. The test results have just come in, sir. Traces of ubiquitin were found in a teapot, so just like we suspected. They were? Just like Mr. Edgeworth said. Curtsy, you'd better not think this means you beat me. You really need to drop this obsession with coming in first, Mr. Winner. We're all on the same side here, remember? We're all trying to get to the truth. Oh. My thing is lagging. Well, but first is best. Everybody knows it's better to be a winner than a loser. That's really no way for a prosecutor to think. Not a successful one, anyway. What? But Enough. Mr. Edgeworth, please refrain from taunting the boy. No? We're just giving him a valuable life lesson, and I feel like my OBS is like lagging a little bit. So yeah. Ignore him, Eustace. He isn't worthy of your attention. But Cavell! I'm alright. Why don't I take care of things here for now? In the meantime, you can perform the far more important task of going and checking on the victim. Yeah, good idea. I'll be right back. Excellent. We shall see you shortly then. Mr. Winner's annoying, but totally harmless. Judge Cavell, on the other hand. Yeah, she could convince the committee to take our badge. Now. Miss Bound, perhaps you could explain why traces of ubiquitin were found in your teapot? I had no idea there was anything like that in there. Perhaps it was one of the ingredients in the dishwashing stuff I used? So you had told the court that you did not intentionally put ubiquitin in the teapot? Yeah, exactly. Why would I? Until today, I had no idea that it could even be used to make poison gas. Objection! You're a trained actress, are you not, Miss Bound? I thought you would have been a more convincing liar. What do you mean? You have access to the ultimate cookbook, correct? A book that just happens to contain instructions on how to create the poison gas used in the attack. Meaning it's perfectly possible for you to know exactly how to make it. You're very well informed, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Bound, is what Mr. Edgeworth said true? The book does contain contain information on words. The book does contain information on how to make the poison gas, yes. But the fact that I have seen it doesn't make me guilty. Can I ask exactly how the gas was triggered? The victim used a blowtorch to heat the lid of one of the display cases, thereby melting the ubiquium. I see. But he locked himself in the room too, didn't he? Surely that and the fact that he triggered it himself, wouldn't it point to it being a suicide attempt? So she is not willing to admit to anything. Furthermore, where would I have gotten hold of the Psssttt Ultra? True. I don't know, perhaps you stole it? Oh yeah, from Scone. You know, I did bump into Moody Judy a week or so ago. And that evening I noticed my Psssttt Ultra had gone missing. Judy, surely you didn't. Delicia, you carried your bag of pharmaceuticals with you everywhere, don't you? There would have been any number of opportunities for someone other than myself to steal it from you. That's true, and I don't have any hard evidence that it definitely was Miss Band who stole it. Dudes, there's clearly something you're not telling us. Why don't you just come clean? We all know you never hurt somebody for no reason, so... No, you too? You think I'm guilty as well, Mr. Fender? Can you blame me? We've got one wing disguised as another, a gas trap in one of the display cases, and you're the proprietor of the establishment. It's looking a lot like you did it, kiddo. You've got this all wrong. You have to remember, the gallery doesn't have any security cameras nor any security personnel. If some ill-intentioned person or other wanted to get in undetected, I don't think they'd have much of a problem. Oh, wow, you're practically asking to be burglarized. And I'm just checking this one thing really quickly. There we go. You need to be more careful. A great thief could have had a field day in here. And I don't think she's joking. And actually, it seems that Mr. Gusto did in fact enter the gallery before it opened. Sheesh. Judy's one tough cookie. She's not budging an inch. Maybe it's time to rock a little technique Gregory taught me back in the day. And what technique might that be? Yeah, tell us, Eddie. So hear me out, everything's connected to what it happened 18 years back, yeah? And since we're not getting anywhere by focusing only on the here and now, maybe we ought to approach this from a different angle and look to the past for clues instead. I Turnabout in thinking, so my father used this method as well. Alright, let's run this through the old Thinkatron. How was Jude involved in what happened back then? According to Miss Bound, it was because of her that Mr. Frost's flavoured ice sculptures melted. And yet his sculptures are here on display at this very gallery today. Is it possible that she... Thank you, Fender. I think I know what I need to ask Miss Bound now. Don't thank me. Thank you, Pops. Now take it away, Mousy. I'll grab the popcorn. Miss Bound, you said that you were the one who caused Mr. Frost's creations to melt 18 years ago, correct? I'm afraid so. I was young and foolish, and it was a terrible accident. And yet, what you did allowed you to open this exhibit now? What do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? If you are going to ask such questions, perhaps a formal testimony from Miss Bound might be best? Yeah, perhaps it might. I'd like to know a little more about Zodiac Hall, and about why Miss Bound decided to dedicate this space to Mr. Frost's work. Very well. If you believe it to be relevant to the case, I will allow it. Miss Bound, would you mind? Not at all. I'll do whatever it takes to prove that I'm innocent. Then please, if you could give us some background on Zodiac Hall and the pieces on display here. Okay. It took 18 years, but at long last, I was finally able to buy Samson's home back a little while ago. But a place like this is expensive to maintain, so I decided to turn it into an art gallery. To that end, I collected as many Paul Helique pieces as I could find from around the world. Because if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work. Thank you for your testimony, Miss Bound. How wonderful is it that you were able to fulfill your dream? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, everything seems entirely above board to me. Judge give out. That was simply the witness's preliminary statement. As you surely know, the value of that testimony cannot be evaluated without due cross-examination. Spoken like a true attorney. Very well. You may do what you must. Okay, we've got a rebuttal. Okay, let's go. Let's see. But how was she able to buy it? Because she said it was expensive to maintain the place. Paul Halleck. That was Mr. Frost's pseudonym, correct? Yeah, he adopted it while he was working as a sculptor in France. I see. I'm curious about some of the pieces in your collection, more specifically. How are you able to acquire the Taurus and Gemini sculptures? It was my understanding that Mr. Frost died before he was able to he could complete them. Didn't she say earlier that she commissioned people to recreate them? Yeah, I was able to create replicas for the Winter Wing based on the photos of the sculptures he made. Really? Perhaps you could go into some more detail on that? Because, if I'm being honest, it's always been... okay. Create replicas based on photos of the sculptures he made. Okay. But why was there sugar in the things? What was there blood in it? Why was there salt in it? I mean, the sugar could be more explained away, being like, oh hey, he made these using sugar in them as well, because they were flavored ice, so sugar was slightly necessary. But like, why the salt? Why the blood? I'm afraid you've run out of road, Miss Bound. You can lie how you like, but you can't deny the results of the tests conducted on the sculpture's remains. Those tests leave no room for ambiguity. What you had on display weren't replicas, they were the very statues of Mr. Frost carved 18 years ago. Oh, I can probably help explain how they worked it out if you liked it. It's a sugar, you see. You might think sugar is sugar, but the composition is actually quite unique. You could probably recreate the statues, but the sweet secret of their chemical makeup? No chance. Thank you, Miss Bound. I don't recall asking for her help, but still. Yeah, there's like a difference between like fructose and glucose and whatever fucking other glucose there is. Like, I don't remember. I remember, yeah, fructose, glucose, sucrose, whatever. There's a difference between different types of sugars, basically. Like, I think we all know that, I think everyone kind of knows, like, glucose is sugar, but there's also, fructose, sucrose as well. To put it simply, the statues didn't disappear back then because they melted. They disappeared because you spirited them away and kept them hidden for these 18 long years. What? She kept a pair of flavored ice sculptures around somewhere for all that time? Maybe that was the same place someone kept the body as well? Where someone kept Artie's body as well? It's not the most out there idea in the world, assuming you had a big enough icebox. Quiet, all of you. Miss Bound, have you anything to say in your defense? So you've already learned that much. Should I take that to mean you admit to having hidden the flavored ice sculptures in question? No, I admit to no such thing. You haven't proven that I was the one who took those statues away. And you won't, because it would have been impossible for me to do so in the first place. The police were already here when they disappeared. How could I have done that without them noticing? How indeed. I don't yet know exactly how you did it, but I'm far from ready to say that it was impossible for you to have stolen them away. You're a very persistent man, aren't you, Mr. Edgeworth? I am indeed, and I won't stop until I get to the truth. I see. Then I better tell you exactly what I did that day 18 years ago. Okay. The whole time before judging began, I was waiting upstairs in our living area on standby. During the judging, I had to go change the camera's film cartridge for Simon, okay? But before I could take the camera back to Samson... Wait, didn't I say Simon instead of Samson? I think I said Simon instead of Samson. Like, dude, we're not talking about Blackwell here. Later around when your father arrived, I began to make the rounds and serve tea to everybody present. That was when I saw Mr. Gusto entering Mr. Frost's room. And those were my movements on the day it all happened. I hardly see how you could take issue with any of that. Is that supposed to decide, Miss Bound? Are you saying there's a contradiction in the story, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm more focused on providing the facts that she did indeed steal those statues. The question is when she would have she would have had the opportunity to do so. If I can pinpoint that, I might be able to prove what exactly she got up to. Okay, what she did that day. Okay, let's have a look through it again. Wait on standby. Change film cartridge. Take camera back to Samson and discover the body. I arrived. I began to make the rounds and serve tea to everybody present. Maybe then?
Hold it!
Just as you did today? Yeah, I went around and offered everybody working on the investigation a cup of tea. Present company included, I remember it well. You were here, there, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere with that little car of yours. Interesting. And did anything strike you as strange around that time? Oh yeah, Gregory was singing the praises of Judy's tea, and I think he mentioned his saucer was cold. Oh yeah, his saucer was cold. And yeah, ours weren't cold when we tried it earlier. Was this the moment when Miss Brown stole the sculptures? Possibly. I never thought that moment would come into clutch later on in, current timeline. I thought it would come up in the 18 years ago, but not now. Miss Brown, I believe this was when you stole the sculptures. I hate to contradict you, but the fountain room was full of witnesses at that point, Mr. Fender included. Are you suggesting that I somehow got the sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room right under everyone's noses? That is precisely what I'm suggesting. Miss Brown stole those ice sculptures, and she did it by hiding them here under her in a cart. Wait, that kind of looks like the lifting cart, and she maybe just put like a table or something on top of it to put the ice sculptures under there.
Take that!
My father and Fender had no idea that one of the sculptures was mere inches away from them, because it wasn't just a tea set you were pushing around this bound, but a hidden ice sculpture in a glass case. Oh yeah, a glass case. Surely such a thing would have been impossible. How would a case of that size fit on a serving car? It would have been spotted immediately.
Objection!
Who said anything about a serving car? Oh, I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Edgeworth. What are you suggesting she used instead? I'm suggesting that Miss Brown used this to transport the sculptures. Oh, the lift car, like we just said. And this is the cart that Miss Brown used to move the flavoured ice sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago. And it would appear that the very same cart is still here with us in this fountain room. What is Skull doing in that bowl? We originally bought it for our use in the contest. And you're saying that Miss Brown loaded Mr. Frost's sculptures onto this cart and carried them off? I am. As you can imagine, all one would need it to do is lay a case on its side and a tablecloth. And it looked exactly like a normal serving cart, thus allowing her to move the sculptures around freely. Can it be? Holy moly, of course! That's why those saucers were so chilly. They were sitting on top of a big block of ice. Jude, how could you? Impressive. Then again, you are Mr. Gregory Edgeworth's son. I should have ever expected no less. There isn't a scrap of evidence that I stole the sculptures all those years ago now. And yet, I knew that no matter what I said or did, I'd always be under a cloud of suspicion. So you admit that you stole them from Mr. Frost's room? Yeah, I do. I took those sculptures and their glass cases out of that room 18 years ago. As Mr. Edgeworth correctly deduced, I dressed up the lift cart as a serving cart to do so. I slipped in and out of Mr. Frost's room while I was going around serving tea to everybody. In the end, I'd removed not only the sculptures, but the flavoured ice Zodiac blocks as well. Zodiac blocks? I feel like I've seen them for myself before. Oh yeah, those ones. There's a huge block of ice on display here. Yeah, when we saw Desiree and Ron. Yeah. It must be incredibly heavy, though maybe not. What with it being hollow on the inside. If the Winter Wing really is an exact replica of Mr. Frost's room from 18 years ago, then even though my father never saw them because they'd already melted, the Zodiac blocks must have been in the victim's room back then as well. When I had finished moving the 2 ice sculptures and the 2 zodiac blocks out, I took 2 fresh empty cases to Mr. Frost's room and put them where the original 2 had been. Only the sculptures had been kept in glass cases, you see, to prevent them from being damaged. The blocks were a little more robust, so they'd been displayed as is. As stated in the contest rules, we were responsible for providing all display materials, including cases, meaning it would have been easy for her to prepare those empty spares she swapped in. Mr. Frost's room contained quite a few of her flavoured ice works in progress. I figured if I melted them down somehow, the resultant puddle would look like it came from the sculptures. And that is how the sculptures from 18 years ago came to be in the Winter Wing today. I have to say, Mr. Edgeworth, that's quite the confession. Indeed, and I think she offered it so willingly because she knows there's nothing we can do for her. That's all I have to tell you. However, despite everything I've shared, you can't charge me with anything now, can you? How did you figure that out? Oh my. I would have thought you might know at least this much given we're at a crime scene. The statute of limitations. I suggest you memorize the various statutes of limitations outlined in this book. Statutes of what? Let's have a look, because other than the 15 years thing, we don't know much about the statutes. Okay. Theft. 7 years from the date of crime. Separate time frames apply with regards to claims for damages, etc. Murder, 15 years from the date of the crime. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. The statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. Simply put, Kay, prosecutors only have a certain amount of time within which they can put a suspect on trial for a given crime. Let's take a closer look, shall we? And we literally just went over this. So it's different for every crime. Murder, 15 years. Theft, 7 years. Yeah. Miss Brown stole the ice sculptures 18 years ago, so it's too late to have her arrested for that crime. I don't believe it. Theft is a serious matter, especially when it involves the removal of evidence from a crime scene. However, as you yourselves just pointed out, Miss Brown can no longer be prosecuted for a crime, rendering your revelation rather pointless, wouldn't you say, Mr. Edgeworth? I wouldn't be so sure about that. For you see, the theft of the ice sculptures isn't my principal interest here. I found the body that reappeared 18 years after the theft to be of considerable more interest. Are you suggesting that I also hid Mr. Frost's body? I am indeed. But how do you keep a body hidden for 18 years without anybody finding it? By hiding it in a very unusual way. Oh, now this is interesting. Are you telling me that you know where the body has been for this time, Mr. Edgeworth? It's not such a big leap if you think about what Miss Brown has told us already. Let's just say it wasn't just flavored ice that she removed from Mr. Frost's room back then. The body? Very well, if you are confident about this claim, let's put it to the test. Tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, where exactly was Mr. Frost's body hidden? Well, we only have one piece of evidence for one location, and that's the Winter Wing. So that's the only place we could say. So Winter Wing. A photograph of Mr. Frost's work and of the victim's body, Your Honor. You'll have to forgive me, but I don't see what you mean. Where exactly in this photograph is Mr. Frost's body? The victim's body is hiding right here, I guess. Here, maybe?
Take that!
The Gemini sculpture? I'm guessing that's right. Yeah, it may look like a sculpture at first glance. It may look like a sculpture on first glance, but it is in fact Mr. Frost's corpse. I feel like somebody would notice if it was a pale corpse and not a blue ice sculpture. Surely you can't be serious. Unless it was under the cloth. I don't see anything in the photograph to support such a wild claim. That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to hide the body in plain sight. And what piece of evidence might that be? The court demands that you present what was used to conceal the body. The cloth. I just said that. One of the cloths from in the autumn wing? Yeah, when it's made to glow in just the right way, it's so visually convincing you might mistake it for ice. Isn't that right, Miss Scone? Oh, well yes dear, but you can make it look like just about anything, really. Even blazing fire. And the right shade of blue would make it look like ice, yes, exactly like it in fact. Isn't that the case that certain special devices needed to generate these colours though?
Objection!
Yeah? If you would care to take a look at the photograph of the winter wing, Your Honor. Oh, there is one. You notice there is a small box connected to the bottom of the Gemini display case. And that's one of the very light-emitting devices in question. Detective Gumshoe even confirmed its presence. In fact, this particular device went missing 18 years ago. Back then, it was no doubt firmly connected to the cloth inside the display case, which means Miss Bound had no choice but to take it with her when she removed the sculpture. So you see, this cloth and the light-emitting device were being used to create the illusion that Mr. Frost's body was in fact a statue carved from ice. No, this can't be. Wait, so you tell me that when we took that photo of us in the winter wind? Yeah, we were standing right in front of the body. Jesus Christ. But the body and the cloth were both recovered from the fountain. Why were they both found there if the body was supposed to be in the winter wind disguised as the sculpture? Wouldn't they be in the... Wait, do we have... Okay, no. There's pools of like water that like feed into the fountain that are in each room. So she could have just put the body and the cloth in those like, pools of water that would have pushed the body into the fountain.
Objection!
Because there would have been no mystery as to how the body had been hidden if we found it as it is. Miss Bound needed to remove Mr. Frost from the winter wing in order to throw us off the scent. Ridiculous. I don't recall her sneaking around behind our backs to throw a body in the fountain. No, and she didn't need to, because she had another method at her disposal. Her trusty lift car. The same car that had proved so useful in executing her original theft. Oh, I was thinking she put it in the water things. I believe she wheeled the body into one of the other wings and floated it. Oh, yeah. That's what I said. Okay. I believe she wheeled the body into one of the other wings and floated it down the stream to the fountain. The frozen body, being quite solid, probably got stuck somewhere along the way, which is why only the cloth appeared at first. The cloth Miss Scone discovered. And then the body followed afterwards once it had thawed enough. Yeah. It's an ingenious theory, Mr. Edgeworth, and in 5 minutes. But can you prove that it was me? It seems a little unfair to expect me to accept your accusations without proof, don't you think? What about an eyewitness? Do you think someone might have spotted her when she was moving the body? As a matter of fact, I do. And the contradiction in the piece of evidence I was provided will shed light on exactly how Miss Bound moved the body as well. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any evidence to support your allegation? Of course I do. I have a piece of very compelling proof right here. Then please present it to the court. What evidence do you have that proves Miss Bound acted as you claim? Oh wait, didn't Larry say that he saw Judy coming out of the winter wing with a cart?
Take that!
What? Drawings? And is that me? Yeah, Mr. Butts drew sketches of people as they passed through the fountain room. But what I'm interested in is the cart we can see here. Miss Bound's serving cart? What about it? You don't see it? She's using the same trick she used 18 years ago. There you go. We know that Miss Bound was busy moving Mr. Frost's body when this picture was being drawn. What? If I may, I don't see Mr. Frost's body anywhere in that sketch. All I see is a picture of me delivering chocolates to everyone. Really? Allow me to direct your attention to the colour of the tablecloth, Miss Brown. I'd originally thought that Mr. Butts had made an error, but he's assured me that couldn't possibly be the case. This tablecloth appears to be like blue. Yeah, shaded tablecloth that Miss Brown doesn't seem to own. The cloth only appears to be like blue due to the body hiding underneath. What? But the shape of the cart is perfectly rectangular, just as one would expect. Surely it wouldn't be immediately obvious if the body was draped directly over the body.
Objection!
But what about it being draped over the glass case that the Gemini statue was in? Now, if the body had been placed inside one of the hollowed zodiac blocks in the winter wing, place one of those on the lift cart, and it easily passed muster as a regular serving cart. Wouldn't you agree? Goddess of justice, Miss Bound. Surely you now must admit that it was you who moved the body, just as you did 18 years ago. I didn't expect you to deduce all that from a single simple sketch, but that sketch alone isn't really enough to prove your theory, is it? You needn't worry on that front. My case doesn't rest solely on Mr. Butts' artwork. But once you had disposed of the body, your serving cart became a simple lift cart once more, which is exactly what we discovered here in the fountain room. Oh shit, yeah, because Larry said that she had come out with a serving cart from the winter wing, went into like another one of the wings, and then came out of the same that wing, just with a lift cart. And without a serving cart, you had to find some place to put your chocolates. My chocolates, the ones I was handing out? As you saw in the sketch, you had originally placed them on top of the cart, but the chocolates you gave us came from your pocket. Oh yeah, mine was half melted. It was still super sweet and tasty though. Why did you suddenly feel the need to put your chocolates in your pocket, Miss Bound? It was because you no longer had a serving cart to put them on, that's why. One moment, please. You have explained what Miss Bound did with the chocolates and the lift cart, but what about the tablecloth? Where did it go? Indeed, if stashing the chocolates in her pockets was the only solution she could think of, I doubt Miss Bound had the time to dispose of an entire tablecloth. Well, Mr. Drift, do you have an answer for me? Miss Bound didn't hide or dispose of the tablecloth, Your Honor. In fact, it's right here in front of us. Perhaps you would care to enlighten us? Where exactly is the tablecloth Miss Bound used to hide the body? Well, I just said right here in front of us, so I'm gonna say it's not gonna be in the fountain. I doubt it's gonna be in the fountain, cause Larry didn't say, oh, she came out with like a piece of cloth on a lift cart. He just said, oh, she just came out with the lift cart. I'm gonna say it on Miss Bound's person. Miss Bound has the tablecloth on her person. And in plain view, in plain view? No, surely you don't mean. Miss Bound. It's a cloth around your waist, isn't it? And it's signed sealed, by the way. And given that the Zodiac blocks weren't kept in glass cases, that cloth would have been in direct contact with the ice. All I would need to confirm my theory is test the cloth for traces of the sugar used in Mr. Frost's work. The game is up, Miss Bound. It's time to come clean. You will need to test the tablecloth. Everything you said is true. I stole Delicia's Infesticide Ultra, and I moved Mr. Frost's body. Guilty. It was me. It was all me. Delicia, I'm so sorry. Last week I went into your bag and I took it. And then I put it in his pocket, hoping it would look like he had tried to do himself in. I also made sure to leave no fingerprints but yours. Just in case the police suspected foul play and the ad is in progress, so I'll probably need to reread that line again. I need to stretch, oh my god. Okay, I'll probably try and get through as much of the next part of the case as I can. But yeah, I want to try and get this case finished today. So yeah, what's our next case actually? That would be Turnabout Forsaken. Okay. I'm gonna look it up on my phone to see how long that case is. Turnabout Forsaken. I'm gonna see how long that'll be and see how long see how long yeah. See how long that will take us. So let me see. So I'm gonna look now. Let's see. It's going to be. I mean, from when I last checked, it looked like a decently long case. So yeah. Oh, this looks like a long part. But from it, what it looks like it's like 6 parts in total. So it looks like maybe 2 parts a stream, and then we've got to tell you about for the ages as well at the end. So yeah. That's we've got Turnabout Forsaken next, and then we've got Turnabout of the Ages as well, which will be our last Ace Attorney case for now. Welcome back from the ad, everybody. Welcome back. I was just yapping about what our next case is. What will be our next case that we're gonna do next week is Turnabout Forsaken, and then after that is Turnabout for the Ages. I also made sure to leave no fingerprints but yours, just in case the police suspected foul play. Judy, you, oh gosh. But Judes, why? Weren't we supposed to be on the same side, all fighting together to free Samson? We were, but I couldn't afford to get arrested. Not yet. Not until I'd finally proven that Samson is innocent. I always planned to give myself up in the end, I swear. I know it's easy to say that now, but why do it this way though? It's not like you. I'm sorry, Mr. Fender, I've caused you so much trouble. I've been the guilty party all along, ever since that day 18 years ago. I tried to tell us that the true culprit in the IS-7 incident is you. I committed a terrible crime. I took those sculptures, and I stole them for purely selfish reasons. The moment Mr. Frost died, they became more than mere entries in a confectionery contest. They became the final works of Samson's favourite artist. I couldn't allow them to just melt away, not before he came home. And that meant I couldn't let anybody near them, not even the police. So I hid them. I didn't know it was wrong, but I just had to. I put them in the cold storage room for safekeeping. But what I had actually done was far worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. Because who would have thought that Mr. Frost's body itself was posing as one of the sculptures? So she didn't know about the body when she stole the sculptures? Okay. Samson is a kind man, a saint. He could never kill anybody, never. And yet, because of what I did, the police never found Mr. Frost's body, and Samson was found guilty. And Samson was tortured. I mean, he might have been already tortured anyway, but still. After all he'd done for me, he was my family, the only family I ever had. He was the most important person in the entire world to me, and Judes. After his conviction, I was forced out of our home. I was only able to return only a few days ago, and when I did, I went to the cold storage room to check up on the sculptures. And that's when I saw it. Mr. Frost's body. He had been there the whole time. Of course, by that point, the statute of limitations had expired, so I did what I did today, because it was the only way I could think of to make things right. It seems I've misunderstood her intentions. Everything she's done really has all been for Mr. Tangaroa's sake. Hey, what are you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth? Something that's been puzzling me. Why did Miss Bound use poison gas? Why not a more reliable method? And why disguise the autumn wing as the winter wing? The only reason I can think of is to confuse someone who was here 18 years ago. Yeah, I wonder what she had in mind. If she was trying to prove that Mr. Tangaroa is innocent, Miss Bound's ultimate goal was to find the true killer, I'm guessing? Could she have been trying to discover the identity of the true culprit? Miss Bound, your ultimate aim was to see Mr. Tangaroa cleared of all charges, correct? And to that end, you had to expose the real killer and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Is my understanding of your intentions correct? Exhibiting the sculptures was sure to force the killer to return to the crime scene. After all, they were the only person apart from you who knew that the body was hidden in the icework. So they would have freaked out thinking the body was about to be discovered and come running, yeah? Exactly. But Miss Bound ran the risk that the killer might successfully cover their tracks in time. In the worst case scenario, they might even have been able to remove Mr. Frost's body from the scene. So how could she lure the true killer into revealing themselves without putting vital evidence at risk? Oh, I see what you're getting at. You're saying that's why the autumn wing was all winter wingy. I am. You were betting on one thing, Miss Bound, weren't you? That whoever opened the Pisces case you had so carefully disguised as the Gemini case will be the real perpetrator of the IS-7 incident. No, but tell me, the real killer was Gusto. Enough, not enough a word. Do you realise the implication of what you are saying, Mr. Edgeworth? Are you prepared to stand behind the accusation you are clearly about to make? Miss Bound set a trap for Mr. Frost's killer, meaning that whoever found themselves caught in that trap is highly likely to be the guilty party. But I lack the evidence to support such an assertion even. To accuse someone without any evidence is not to be done lightly, so should I really go ahead and make my accusation and name Mr. Frost's killer nonetheless? Yeah, we have to. My ultimate goal is to see the truth exposed. And to do that, I need to seize the moment, and my camera is lagging. Is it going to be fine? There we go. Yes, Judge Gabel. I'm prepared to stand by my accusation. Oh God. I know exactly who to blame for the IS-7 incident. Gusto. Mr. Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack, and is the perpetrator behind the IS-7 incident? Gusty? Mr. Gusto. Miss Bound, as we have established, you knew that the opening of the gallery would lure in the real culprit, and he set up the poison gas trap in order to catch them. Do you dispute the facts thus far? You're a very impressive man, Mr. Edgeworth, just like your father. And of course, you're absolutely right. Then perhaps you could tell us exactly what happened in your own words? And of course, I have nothing to hide anymore, so I might as well tell you everything. As you said, I set a trap here in the gallery to try and catch Mr. Frost's killer. Before we opened, I made sure that the door to the autumn wing was the only one that was unlocked. When opening time came, I went around to unlock the doors of various rooms and found that the autumn wing had been locked from the inside. The killer is on the other side of the door, I thought. Well, it frightened me. And then she simply walked away, leaving him to fall victim to her poison gas trap. When I heard that Mr. Gusto was being treated for gas inhalation, that's when I knew he was the murderer. All that was left of it was for the police to find Mr. Frost's body, and then Samson would finally be proven innocent. At least, that was my plan. Judes, why didn't you tell me? You know I'm always here for you, right? We could have found another way. It didn't have to be like this. Thank you, Mr. Fender. You've been so kind to me all these years. But I'm the one who created this mess, so it was up to me to try and clean it up. I didn't care what it took as long as I could get Samson out of that awful place. Judy. 18 years ago, the police managed to cover up the fact that Mr. Frost's body had gone missing. If I went to them now and said it had reappeared, I was afraid they might have tried to cover things up again. So I went to set up a very public incident here in the gallery in front of as many witnesses as possible. I'm so sorry, Judy. You, Samson, Gregory. I let you all down. Fender, this can't be easy for him. No, I'm the one who should be apologizing. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender. I hope one day you can forgive me. And whatever punishment I have to face, I'm ready to accept it. But please, if I may ask one thing of you, is that you must clear Samson's name. The way the truth of these past 18 years had come to light was unexpected, to say the least. And yet, it had only set us down a path towards an even more shocking end. To be continued. Okay, we're going to try and get through as much as this next part as possible. I'm just going to have a drink real quickly. Okay. Back here we've got Eddie, we've got Kay, we've got Miles, we've got Judy, we've got Verity, we've got Delicia, we've got Larry. Okay. Miss Bound, are you feeling a little calmer now? Yeah. Good. Then allow me to get to the point. Regardless of your intentions, you broke the law. Yeah, I understand. Nevertheless, I understand that you did what you did in order to prove Mr. Tangaroa's innocence. Therefore, if the real culprit really is someone else, then we have a duty to reinvestigate the case. But the statute of limitations. There's nothing to suggest that anything nefarious took place in the official IS-7 incident records. And right now there's nothing to suggest that we should take Miss Bound at her word either. So our first order of business should be to arrest the culprit of the case before us, Miss Bound herself. Official records cannot always be trusted, Judge DeVal. Especially since there are those prosecutors who think nothing of twisting the facts. Manfred. Are you suggesting that the committee at the time overlooked just such a prosecutor? That's for you and your people to figure out. However, it is a fact that the autopsy report was faked, seeing as Mr. Frost's body was only found just now. There really is something of Mr. Von Karma in you, Mr. Edgeworth. How so? Exactly. By continually defying the will of the committee, another spelling error, and bending the truth to fit your needs, that's how. Perhaps it is time you understand how the committee sees this case. Fuck off, Verity. Oh my god. I don't care about the committee. The committee is willing to accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified Mr. Frost's autopsy report. Even so, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice. I personally have come to believe that the real culprit behind the IS-7 incident is Miss Bound. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusto today was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder. No, I don't accept that. And this is how the committee sees things, is it? Or is this just how you see things, Verity? It is. As always, I act solely in service of law and order. Really? It sounds to me like all she's doing is acting in service of the committee and covering up the truth. And if I can't change her mind, there will be no saving Mr. Tangaroa or Miss Bound. Okay. I want to ask you one thing, Verity. I want to ask her one thing, and that is, why would she want to frame Gusto? What was the motive? Remember everyone that said to Phoenix and Apollo and Athena? Where's the motive? Where's the fucking motive? Other than that, we can't convict without a motive, and we'll go with our original suspect. Why would Miss Bound have chosen to frame Mr. Gusto for the murder? No doubt because he suspected her of being the real culprit. He may have entered what he thought was the winter wing simply to see if the Gemini statue was genuine. Little did he know that he would be greeted by a trap designed to silence him, a trap that nearly worked. Do you have any evidence to support that line of reasoning? Unfortunately, Mr. Gusto remains in critical condition. It'll be difficult to prove anything until he regains consciousness. In other words, there's little we can do for now. On the contrary, there is plenty we can do. You still have not grasped at the situation, have you? Then allow me to spell it out for you. With all the evidence we need to explain both the IS-7 incident and the poison gas attack, we have therefore determined that there is no need to investigate either case further. Well, what about these analysis results? Where the blood was in the Gemini statue? Huh? What about that? I'm afraid there is still one question concerning the IS-7 incident that remains unanswered, Your Honor. Would you mind taking a look at this? What is it? The test results carried out on the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case in the winter wing. As you can see, traces of blood were detected. The question is, whose? Until that question is answered, I hardly think you can claim to have all the evidence. There was blood in the Gemini case? Why did I not hear about this from Eustace? Because Detective Gumshoe informed me of the results directly. I was planning to tell Mr. Winner about it myself, of course. You kept this to yourself until now, despite having no jurisdiction here whatsoever? Mark my words, the committee will hear all about what you have done here today. As ever, my interest is in the truth, and if mistakes were made in the past, they must be rectified. If you must report me to the committee, then so be it. But in return, you must be allowed to investigate this case to the very end. That is not my decision to make. You will need to discuss it with Eustace. Guess he's back, losers, and with good news too. It was a close call for a minute there, but Carmelo Gusto is alive. Gusto, he made it. You're the ones who found me? Yep, long time no see, Gusto. Huh? You're the attorney's assistant? You've grown, and you have an assistant of your own now. Assistant? No, I'm... He hasn't gotten the gig just yet. This is Gregory Edgeworth's son. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, at your service. Huh? Fate moves in mysterious ways. I'm in your debt. If you hadn't found me in time, I wouldn't be here to thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. After all, if you hadn't lived, we wouldn't be able to ask you what really happened 18 years ago. What are you talking about? You figured out quite a bit while you were out cold, including the fact that you're probably the guy who offed poor Artie Frost. What? Is that true? Miss Brown set up a very elaborate trap to catch Mr. Frost's murderer. A trap that involved rigging the Pisces case with poison gas. Perhaps in light of that fact, you could tell us in your own words what happened back then. Or perhaps you'd rather exercise your right to remain silent? Oh, it's not that. Gusto's here found the old meditation, you know. Oh, I know that jazz. Wow, sleeping while standing seems pretty cool. That's one heck of a talent. Except there's no sleeping involved in meditation, Kay. Hey, Gusto, pal, how about you stop out of it and tell us what went down way back when? I was caught in the ghost trap, so I must be the killer? Is this your idea of a joke? I'm the victim here. Indeed you are, Mr. Gusto, and there is no evidence that you have done anything wrong yet. Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Fender are merely speculating. Rest assured that they have no authority here, and that you must pay them no heed. At least somebody here seems to be on my side. Judge Verity Gavel. It's a pleasure, Mr. Gusto. I'll assist you in any way you may require. Perhaps you could begin by explaining what actually happened 18 years ago to Mr. Edgeworth. Fine. You want me to prove I'm innocent, Mr. Prosecutor? I'll be happy to. So this is how you mean to play it, Judge Gavel. You're hoping Mr. Gusto will help you to hide what happened instead of trying to correct the record? I believe only in the infallible judgment of the goddess of justice. Except it is us humans who make the actual judgment calls in a court of law. And so long as there are those who would use the law to their advantage, our rulings are fallible indeed. If you would use your position to further obscure the truth, then neither she nor I will forgive you. Haha, we will see about that. What do you advise, Judge Cavell? It would seem that you are under suspicion because it was you who triggered the poison gas, specifically by opening the Pisces case's lid. Would you be so kind as to share why with us? Understood. I came to see Frost's sculptures. Simple as that. I made a mistake with the opening times and arrived a half hour early. Miss Bound, was there no one at the reception desk around that time? I left the main entrance unguarded and unlocked, just in case the killer made an appearance. I was also busy making preparations elsewhere, all the way up until the gallery's opening. So no, there was no one here on the first floor then. But they'd make sure that all the wings were locked up tight, all except for the autumn wing, that is. I see. She did all that. She did all that just to steer the culprit into the autumn wing, which is precisely where Mr. Gusto went. Sneaking into a building is pretty suspicious, however you slice it. I think you're a great thief, but also it is suspicious, yes. Silence in the courtroom. We are not in court, Judge. I will permit no objections or investigations unless there is some evidence that the witness is lying. The courtroom? You know this is an art gallery, right? Mr. Gusto. If you could please continue by explaining why you opened the Pisces case. I wanted to see Frost's work up close, so I went up to the Gemini, so I guess it was supposed to be the Pisces statue, and I saw that the lid was frozen on tight, so I grabbed a blowtorch from nearby and tried to open it. When I finally got it open, gas came pouring out. Fascinating! His is the sort of flawless testimony attorneys can only dream of. Yeah, the everything sounds like a lie kind. I am none too satisfied with Mr. Gusto's explanation myself. Alas, there is no evidence to refute it. Come on, there must be something. It's Bound's story you should be questioning, not mine. I'm not the one who set up the gas trap. She could have killed anybody with that thing. She turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was gunning for the killer and nobody else. That killer being you, old pal. So you believe that self-confessed criminal? Miss Bound is far from blameless in this affair, and she will have to pay for her crimes. But so will Mr. Frost's killer. He seemed determined to pin Frost's murder on me. But I had no reason to kill him. Yeah, right. And you have no evidence to prove otherwise. Can we really not prove that he is the killer, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Gusto fell victim to the poison gas. That much is indisputable. Yet no matter how suspicious his actions in the present may seem, they prove nothing about the past. Yeah, but then what about you, Mr. Fender? There must be something we can do. You're right, we may not have the evidence, but we have plenty of intel. Let's see now. If Gusto killed Frost, he must have had a reason. He claims not to have a motive, but that can't really be true, can it? If he did it, he has one. Not many people commit murder just for fun. In fact, your old man had a little back and forth with Von Karma about a probable motive too, remember? How can you possibly say that with any certainty? If their relationship had broken down for some reason, that could very well have been the motive behind this murder. Von Karma wouldn't let us talk to Gusto back then, but we can now. If we can put the pieces together, I think the picture we've been looking for might just emerge. Yeah, I think you might be right. I need to think back over everything we know about the IS-7 incident, especially the questions that never got answered. And the finger marks? Were you the one wearing the gloves? Miss Gon denied that the finger marks on the frame were hers. But what if they were Mr. Gusto's? Perhaps she had wanted to take a look through the ultimate cookbook for himself? So he asked me to go put in a new cartridge. You seem to think there should have been more shots left than there were. In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected. Yeah, the number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining. But he thought maybe he just lost track somewhere along the way. My father noticed these things for a reason. I just need to piece them together correctly. In the absence of evidence, it's the only way to the truth. Logic mode! Okay. Let's think. Murderous motive and cooperation ended. That's the only thing that makes sense. That's the first thing that comes to mind that makes sense. Mr. Gusto, you and Mr. Frost conspired to create a work for the contest together, did you not? Huh? So you know my little secret. Mr. Fender was kind enough to inform me. Mr. Frost was in charge of the designs, while you were in charge of the flavor. Is that correct? What can I say? I still had a long way to travel on the road to becoming a master confectioner. So he was the only one that was an actual confectioner that was in like the final. Because if you remember, there were 4 finalists? No, 3 finalists plus Tangaroa's room. So the 3 finalists were Gusto, the actual confectioner, Scone, who was actually a pharmacist, and then there was Frost, who was actually a sculptor. But you only collaborated up through the semi-final. Something changed after that. We both wanted to show what we could do. Should we were better than Tangaroa. Then why did you help Mr. Frost with his entry for the final? What grounds do you have to say that? Your statement made to Mr. Von Karma 18 years ago. You told him that you had been working together right up until the day before the final. Mr. Frost's entry was carved entirely from blocks of flavoured ice. Ice which would have needed at least a day to freeze, and whose flavours would therefore have been already prepared by Mr. Gusto. Yeah, which lines up perfectly with what Gusto told me. That he helped Frost until the day before the final. In that case, why didn't Frost reciprocate and help Mr. Gusto in return? I can hardly be expected to read the minds of the dead. So why didn't Mr. Frost help you in return? I submit that your relationship broke down for some reason, and that became the basis of your motive for murder. That's not how it was. Sure, we stopped working together, but it was all perfectly friendly. Sure, yeah, sure. We stopped working together in a friendly way? Kinda hard to imagine, but okay. Besides, how do you think I did it exactly? You think I just strolled into Tangaroa's room and killed Frost? I couldn't have killed the man while Tangaroa was in there working on his chocolate pieces, could I? Stacey, it can't have been me. I wouldn't be so sure. There must be a window of time when Mr. Tangaroa wasn't in the room, like when he was outside, eating his afternoon tea. And if I can prove that, I can prove that Mr. Gusto had the opportunity to kill Mr. Frost. More logic. Okay, I'm guessing maybe remain exposures and one in the cookbook. That's the only thing I can think of. Yes. Okay. Photographing the cookbook's contents would be the perfect way to steal its secrets undetected. And what if Mr. Gusto did just that? What if he used Mr. Tangaroa's camera to photograph the book? Because it had less film than expected. It'd be the perfect crime. So much better than stealing it and getting chased by the cops. A sneaky snapshot of 20, huh? That could work. The only question is, when would he have done it? Good question. What about during afternoon tea? Didn't Alicia say that Gusto and Frost had missed out on the little tea party they had? Which brings me to the next question. When do we know for certain that Mr. Frost was still alive? Then, after the contest began, nobody saw hide nor hair of Frost as he had secluded himself in his room, and the only person capable of entering his lunch room was Tangaroa, possessing as he did the only key. Miss Scone, were Mr. Tangaroa's works the only one you sampled? No dear, I couldn't help myself. When I had finished my afternoon tea, I tiptoed over to Chili Winks' room for a little taste too. Mr. Frost had kept to himself inside his room after the contest had started, but he was gone by the time Miss Scone snuck into it to sample his work. Really, there was a good chance he was murdered before the end of the afternoon tea. F-18, time of the murder. Connect. That's the only thing we can connect now. And it's obviously right. That's like the most obvious one. We can be sure that Mr. Frost was alive until the beginning of the afternoon tea, making tea time the only window during which Mr. Gusto could have killed him. Are you satisfied with Mr. Gusto's story now, Mr. Edgeworth? Sadly, I'm afraid I'm still rather unsatisfied, but things are finally starting to become clear, and the truth will soon come to light at last. Do you mean to say that you have uncovered new evidence? Evidence? No. I was hoping I might convince Mr. Gusto to open up to us about it instead. Oh, is it mind games time again? Yes, it's mind games time again. It is. Mr. Gusto, I have a question for you. I said I have a question for you. What is it? You chose to make your entry for the final on your own. I told you I wanted to test myself. I wanted to prove I was the best in the world. And if that were the case, then sure you wouldn't have chosen to cheat in the first place. So tell me, Mr. Gusto, why did you feel the need to team up with Mr. Frost? Chess time. My chess time. Logic chess time. Whatever you want to call it. 18 years ago, Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost collaborated in the confectionery contest. But why did they work together and why did they enter the contest in the first place? That's the information I need to get out of my opponent somehow. Logic chess. Oh, 4. Mr. Gusto seems to have a habit of pretending to be asleep when things aren't going his way. Okay, so when he's pretending to be asleep, we buy that time. Let's start by focusing on why he chose to work with Mr. Frost. On my hand, now is the time to dig up the truth that was buried all those years ago. My chess. Commence. Why did you collaborate with Frost? Mr. Gusto, what inspired you to collaborate with Mr. Frost? We were acquaintances before we were contestants. He was interested in entering the contest, so we decided to sign up together. And your decision to pair up with a sculptor had nothing to do with your lack of faith in your skills? You don't know me. We joined forces because we wanted to make the most perfect creations possible. That's all. By that time, Frost's son and mine were in the same grade at school, so we got along pretty well too. Oh, so you were just two friends who happened to try for the title of World's Greatest Confectioner? Fucking wake up, dude. Answer my question. Pretending to be asleep when go and get stuff. Wanna work on me, I'm afraid. Mr. Frost was a sculptor, Mr. Gusto. I doubt he cared much about winning a title for confectioners. In which case, he probably had a different motive for taking part in the contest, wouldn't you say? Fine. It was me. I wanted that title. Frost was only in it for the prize, the ultimate cookbook. I see. And since your objectives dovetailed so neatly, you decided to work together. But then, something happened. A breakdown in your relationship, perhaps? If so, I want to know why. Mr. Prosecutor, I'm still quite unwell after my brush with death. Push me too hard, and I'll be on my way back to the medical room. Fuck off, man. No way. Then you'd better wrap this up quickly. I'm already dangerously low on patience. Mr. Gusto is trying desperately to make his escape, but he's not going anywhere yet. Not as long as he's still keeping things from me. So let's figure out what he really was after next. Okay, our time is back up. There's no time to lose. I need to pick the right line of questioning and fast. Do you want more than the title? You two had your eyes on something other than the title, didn't you? After all, I'm not sure the title of World's Greatest Confectioner even counts for that much. Now you're just insulting the way of a confectioner. Nah. My only goal was to win that title. I didn't care about anything else. You have no idea how much it would have meant to me by that time. Look, my sense of design may not have been up to snuff back then, but you should see me now. Oh, so you've improved? You bet I have. I didn't do all that training in Zhengfa for nothing. Really, by that time. I looked up to Tangaroa, you know? Spent hours poring over the designs of his works. Even used to watch his show with my son. Sounds to me like Mr. Tangaroa's work was especially influential in your early studies. And with his recipe book, you might have even become the best someday. Maybe. The book was a real treasure, no doubt about that. Any confectioner would have wanted it. So you were interested in the book too? You claimed that your only goal was to win the title? Yeah, you also seem to have an interest in the contest prize, the ultimate cookbook. The greatest collection of recipes by the world's greatest confectioner. I can't say I had absolutely no interest in it, but it wasn't actual recipes. It was cures and treatments. And even if I did, what exactly is so wrong with that? Nothing, I suppose. Only that the book contained recipes for medicines, not desserts. And everyone who entered the contest supposedly knew that, except the one actual confectioner. Weird. I feel like I'm finally getting somewhere. I can't let him slip my grasp now. I just need to stay calm and keep the pressure on. Okay, our timer's back up again. Next, let's find out why you wanted the cookbook. Did you need to help with your sweets? So your plan was to win the cookbook and use it to help you with your own creations? What else? A book like that could have improved my craft tenfold. You could have made a lot of money if you sold it. I don't know much about what was actually in there, but it's worth more than the money, I tell you that. He knows more definitely about it. Come now, Mr. Gusto. I think you know more about the ultimate cookbook than you claim. They told us a little about it at the start of the contest. Then you know what kind of recipes it actually contained, don't you? And that they weren't dessert recipes at all. I see you did your homework. Fine. So you know what was really in there? The ultimate cookbook, or the Angel's cookbook, to give it its proper title. It's a collection of chemical formulas and ways to synthesize new medicines nobody had ever heard of. So he did know that the cookbook actually contained recipes for medicines. This could be an important clue. Did you know what it was really worth? Did you know how valuable the cookbook really was? What kind of a question is that? It was a collection of Tangaroa's recipes. There wasn't a confectioner in the world who wouldn't have wanted to get their hands on it. Time to deploy my clue. Except that you knew that wasn't what was really in there. I didn't read what he said. I accidentally scrolled past it by accident. Your designs may have improved thanks to your training in Gen Far, but you clearly didn't do enough work on your skills of deception. You've already admitted that you knew the ultimate cookbook was a collection of recipes for medicines. Thereby making your interest not gastronomical, but pharmaceutical in nature. You needed a medicine, didn't you? You're a confectioner, Mr. Gusto. You have no professional interest in revolutionary new medicines, which suggests that your interest may have been personal. I underestimated you. Fine, you're right. Winning the title wasn't the only reason I entered the contest. I needed one of the recipes in that book. It was for my son. He was sick. He was? Tell me more. That's none of your business. I've told you as much as you need to know. He looks rattled, but I can't let him off the hook. Let's find out what this mystery illness was. I've almost gone to the bottom of this. I can feel it. Just a few more moves. Tell me more about your son. Tell me a little bit more about your son. He was my pride and joy, my biggest fan. And you entered the contest in order to help him? You clearly don't have children of your own. Any father would have done the same. I would have done anything to help him. Anything. By that time, he would have come see me here at the contest venue too, right up through the semi-final. Really? He didn't get in the way of your work? If you were trying to beat Samson Tangaroa, surely you didn't have the time to look after a child. Yeah, well, I wanted to do what I could for him. You said he wanted to always be the first to try my creations, so he wasn't too sick to join you? You said your son was sick, Mr. Gusto, and yet he was able to come join you for the contest. Oh wait, what if his son died? Oh shit. It wasn't that kind of illness. Nothing life-threatening, anyway. This feels like it could be an important clue. Wasn't the book necessary to help him get better? So you needed the cookbook to cure his son? Yeah, nowadays you can get the medication you needed anywhere. But back then that book was our only hope. Which is why I didn't dare waste my time on fancy tea parties. I had to give my all to my work. And what about Mr. Tangaroa's work? Surely that tea break gave you the perfect opportunity to go steal a campsite. And what makes you think that I had the energy or the time to care about what the others had made? You cared about Mr. Tangaroa's work. I think you made it abundantly clear how much interest you had in Mr. Tangaroa's work. What's more, if you were that determined to win the ultimate cookbook, I seriously doubt you would have passed up on a chance to take a peek at your competitors' entries. I had plenty of chances throughout the contest to see and sample my rival's work, you know. But each time I did, nothing seemed to have any flavour. Must have been nerves or something. Nothing Mr. Gusto tasted had any flavour? That seems like it could be an important clue. Anyway, your son's condition. Could you tell me the name of the disease your son suffered from? I forgot which one he had said then. You're a real cool customer, Mr. Prosecutor. Isn't it enough he was seriously ill? Why would you force me to tell you more? Oh shit, wait! The thing was, what's the thing? The cookbook was used for taste disorders. Time to apply my clue. But it wasn't life-threatening, was it? You've already shared with me that your son's illness wasn't life-threatening. So why are you so reluctant to share any further details? It may not have been life-threatening, but that doesn't mean it hadn't been life-altering. I see. That must have been very hard on the both of you. Of course it was. That was why I did everything I could to find a cure. We were desperate. He couldn't taste anything, not even his favourite desserts. Did he have a taste disorder? As I understand it, the Ultimate Cookbook contains the recipe for a very particular medication. One that Mr. Tangaroa used to cure himself of his own taste disorder. So he had it too? So you say. So your son had a taste disorder then, am I correct? How did I let that slip? You've been asking me to believe that you needed to win the cookbook in order to cure your son. Was that really the case? Of course it was. What are you saying? I'm saying that I'm not so sure that's true based on everything you've told me. Time to apply my clue. You were sick. Yourself, weren't you? Taste disorders are difficult to live with. It isn't easy not being able to enjoy your food. You should know, after all, you've just told me you'd experienced something like that during the contest. You said that nothing you sampled had any flavour. Those were your words, correct? Which would seem to suggest that you were suffering from a taste disorder. Okay, we've almost got him. A confectioner without a sense of taste? Not exactly ideal, which would make sense as to why Gusto and Frost were working together, maybe. Are you sure it wasn't actually your own condition you were seeking a cure for, Mr. Gusto? I've had enough of your speculations. I managed to find in that contest, made all my own entries, no problems. But weren't you working with Frost? Sorry, but I'm afraid you're contradicting your own testimony. You already admitted that you and Mr. Frost had worked together during the contest. It's too late to claim you did it all on your own now. You would have us believe that you are a man of principle, a dedicated student of the confectioner's art. Yet you abandoned those principles and conspired with Mr. Frost to rig the contest. Also, you could cure your own taste disorder. You got me, Mr. Prosecutor. As you said, my sense of taste was short. My son was fine. I'd kept it hidden for so long, 18 years, and nobody knew. Sadly, you can lie to others, but you can't lie to me. Both Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost entered the contest hoping to obtain the Ultimate Cookbook for the medicine that would cure Mr. Gusto's disorder, and the money it would bring in for Mr. Frost. Thus, an uneasy alliance was forged, and that, I believe, is checkmate. Ooh, checkmate! Ooh. I'll admit it, you're good. I never told anybody any of this, but you figured it all out anyway. It's true, 18 years ago I developed ageusia. What's ageusia? It's a taste disorder that makes it so you can't taste anything at all. A confectioner's worst nightmare. Mr. Fender, is this what Mr. Tangaroa had as well? No, the big man had what they called dissociated taste disorder. It's basically some things he could taste just fine, while others had no flavour at all. So he suffered too. Couldn't have been easy. No wonder there wasn't a way to cure it on the market. Which is why you needed Mr. Tangaroa's cookbook. Do you admit now that was the real reason you entered the contest? It was the only one of the reasons. I wasn't lying when I said I wanted the title. When I put my mind to something, it gets done, and I won't lose to anybody. I may not have been able to taste it then, but I still knew my stuff was good enough to win. Oh, so you went into the final thinking you stood a good chance of winning? Of course. What was it that Fender said that about what Mr. Tangaroa thought of Mr. Gusto's creations? Mr. Gusto's creations were a perfect balance of flavour and design, at least up through the semi-final, but disappointingly his entry for the final was subpar on both counts, cause he was working with Frost. We were told that your entry for the final was far from the prize-winning taste sensations you describe. What happened, Mr. Gusto? What went wrong that day? Fine. You want me to talk? I'll talk. But you're not going to like what I have to say. Okay. I'm guessing it has to do with Frost, because I'm guessing Frost didn't have a taste disorder. Frost and I were working together right up for the semi-final. I handled the flavour, he did the designing. But I wanted to face Tangaroa in the final on my own. No hope, just me and my skills. So I helped Frost with his entry, but mine I did alone. If it didn't taste good in the final, that's on me. What can I say? I like training. And that's all there is to it. Happy now? There don't seem to be any obvious contradictions in his testimony. Yeah, not that I thought it'd be easy to get anything real out of him. He's managed to not let slip what really happened for 18 years after all. Why don't you try pushing him a bit, Maozarino? See if you can't shake something loose. I think I just might have to, Fender. Entry for the semi-final. Okay, let's see. But didn't you have a taste disorder?
Hold it!
So, was Frost doing the flavouring as well? And yeah, I heard that your creations prior to the final was scored highly for their flavour. So what went wrong? Was there some kind of cooking accident on that day? No, nothing like that. It was, I told you, I had a taste disorder. My sense of taste failed me. It's as simple as that. But Mr. Frost's entry was complimented on its flavour. Your sense of taste hadn't failed you then. Did something happen overnight? Yeah, what happened, Gusto? I don't think he's going to spill any more beans, Mr. Edgeworth. Then perhaps I should ask him about something else. How about the semi-final? Did something change between the semi-final and the final, Mr. Gusto? Not really. The only difference between the semi-final and the final was that Frost wasn't helping me. Was it something to do with... Oh, was it something to do with the kids? Because his son didn't show up for the final. I can think of one significant difference between the semi-final and the final, Mr. Gusto. Your son, this is him in the photograph, correct? You told me he was here with you up through the semi-final. He was... what of it? Well, indeed. He was here with you until the semi-final. He was here with you until the semi-final, until he really suddenly wasn't for the final. And just as suddenly your work went from being lauded for its flavour to being lambasted for it. I don't think that's a coincidence, do you? He wasn't just spending quality time with his father, he was playing a much more pivotal role than that. I just wanted him to see me hard at work, to show him I was trying my best for us. Who knows, Maybe it was him being here that helped me do so well in those early rounds. He tells a good game, but nothing about this guy screams super dad to me. Indeed, thankfully we would only have to give such an idea credence if his story were true. After all, how much could the encouragement of one small boy affect the taste of a grown man's work? Maybe the kid was tasting the stuff. Mr. Gusto prided himself on the flavour of his creations, but then lost his sense of taste. He must have had a tough time maintaining his high standards after such a devastating loss unless... I'm sure your son was here to cheer you on, but that wasn't all he was here to do, was it? You're a very suspicious man, Mr. Prosecutor, but why not try answering yourself for a change? What was an elementary school kid doing here other than to support his father? To taste your creations. Your son knew the taste of your work pretty well, I imagine, Mr. Gusto. He was my biggest fan. Of course he knew it. In which case, he would have been a good judge of whether something tasted on brand, so to speak, no? What are you implying? You've already told us that you were suffering from a taste disorder. Yeah? I'll admit it, you're not good. I never told anybody any of this, but you figured it all out anyway. It's true, 18 years ago, I developed aphasia. No one knew about your condition. Indeed, I doubt Mr. Frost would have wanted to continue collaborating with you had he found out. After all, it was your job to make sure his creations tasted good. Therefore, your son wasn't just here to support you. He was helping you by taste testing your work. Dang, that all makes sense. Frost's stuff tasted good because it really was finished the day before when the kid was still here. Wait, did Frost have a taste disorder as well? You have a vivid imagination, Mr. Prosecutor, but do you seriously think I trust a kid to tell me how to adjust the taste of my masterpieces? I have some pride, you know, even back then. Did you now? My designs may not have been much to write home about back then, but I always knew my work tasted better than anybody else's. Think I'd risk everything by putting my reputation in the hands of a child? Yeah. This is just more speculation. That's all it is. In that case, I have to speak with your son this instant. Let's see how much of your story he can corroborate. Sadly for you, my son is no longer my concern. What? As soon as I got my sense of taste back, I went straight to his young father to start my training and cut off all ties with the kids for good. Shit, dad alert. What? You abandoned your own child. And that ain't the half of it. No one knows where he is, even now. The cops have looked all over for him, but no dice. So, still think you can prove your asinine theory? I'd like to see you try. You think I care about anything besides confectionery? Think again. I got my sense of taste back. What need do I have for a son? Wow! Wow! Okay. Silence in the courtroom. While Mr. Gusto's words and actions may demonstrate a certain lack of humanity on his part, the goddess of justice can't judge him for that. Ad starts in 5 minutes, by the way. I'm just checking this disc typing really quickly. There we go. Therefore, Mr. Edgeworth, I believe it is time for you to admit defeat. Yeah, give it up. 18 years is a long time for anything to surface now, proof or otherwise. Mr. Edgeworth, we have to do something. If we don't, the truth might be lost forever. Where are you, Detective Gumshoe? We need our man. Can't imagine whose blood it could possibly be, but I'll get it tested right away, sir. Please do, Detective. That's the last piece of the puzzle, I'm sure of it. Once we know whose blood it is. Hey, Mouse. Sorry to cut in on your mind pal this time, but I was pondering something myself. My friend Gusto didn't come here just to check up on the body, did he? You mean because he tried to open the case? Exactamundo. Think we have anything that might explain why he tried to do that? We might. If Detective Gumshoe can make it back in time with a certain piece of evidence. That's quite enough for idle chat and defense. Now if you... Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Sorry to keep you waiting. Here he is. Speak of the devil. I take it you have the test results, Detective? Yes, sir. The lab just got back to me. Detective, please. Court is in session. Now then, am I right to assume that you are bringing us the evidence Mr. Edgeworth was just speaking of? What? Hey, no fair. Why didn't anybody tell me about any of this? I do feel bad for Eustace in this particular scenario, just because no one has told him shit. So, yeah. It is indeed the evidence in question, Your Honour. It needed testing, so I asked him to carry it out. Why is everybody always helping you? I'm supposed to be the one in charge here. Mr. Winner, I'm sorry I didn't involve you, but this is important. Can we at least hear what the detective has to say? Well, alright. So Detective Gumshoe, what did the tests have to tell us? You're not going to believe this, but the owner of the blood we found in the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case is Carmelo Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack. What are you talking about? Thank you, Detective. You've been very helpful. Well, it looks like my suspicions were correct. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah, what do you mean? Explain yourself. What is the significance of this blood to this case? It's only the very thing the perpetrator of the IS-7 incident has been trying to hide all of these years. The fact that your blood was found inside the Gemini case, Mr. Gusto, is as good as us finding your blood lying right next to Mr. Frost's body.
Overruled.
What? Why would there be traces of your blood there, of all places, Mr. Gusto? If you won't answer Her Honor, Mr. Gusto, then I will. There wasn't just blood in the liquid from the Gemini case. There were traces of salt and sugar too. There were? And if you remember, one particular part of Mr. Frost's work was allegedly very salty indeed. Oh yeah, you're talking about what Delisha told us back then, right? When was it again? What was it again? Did they ever? I've never tried icy so scrumptious in all my life. Really? Man, I wish I could have had a bite. Well, scrumptious except for the salty bit, of course. That was unbearable. The salty bit? It's in the other photo you've got there. This bit, the harpy thing. The liar. Gemini's liar. Yeah, the liar. And only the liar tasted as if it had been flavoured with salt. There were no traces of salt anywhere else in Mr. Frost's entry. Very interesting. Then perhaps you can tell us, Mr. Edgeworth, where did the salt and the liar come from? I'm guessing it's from the murder weapon, which was the fucking salt lamp.
Take that!
This is the lamp from the IS-7 incident? Indeed, and I believe that the salt that gave the liar its flavour came from just such a lamp. Mr. Von Karma had established that both salt lamps were in Mr. Tangaroa's room at the time of the crime. One of them was used to kill Mr. Frost. Yeah, and it was stained with his blood. But no corresponding pool of blood was found in Mr. Tangaroa's room. Right, because the culprit had chucked a piece of chocolate with that on it into the little stream. Furthermore, aside from the liar, no traces of salt were found anywhere else in Mr. Frost's room either. Hey, come to think of it, the lamps we found in Delicia's room were both broken. The lamps appeared to be broken. Bulbs were smashed. Both of them. Maybe they fell and broke on the floor? And it's dying soon, by the way. We never did figure out how the one that wasn't used to kill Frost got busted, but I was thinking, maybe it had Gusto's blood on it at some point. Anyone whose blood was found on one of the lamps would have been a person of interest to the police. And I just realised that the ad is in progress. Jesus Christ. I think we still have one more of Gusto's testimonies left to go through, and then we're gonna finish this case. I'm just gonna go through that last testimony and then we'll be done. I've been streaming for 3 goddamn hours. Jesus Christ. I need to go to bed soon. I have uni in the morning. So yeah, we're gonna have uni pretty much all day tomorrow, seeing as though I have a lecture in the morning and seminar in the afternoon. So yeah, I need to sort all these stickers so I'm not sticking on the wall properly. sticks on for like 2 seconds and then it just pops right off. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, I should have some glue somewhere. So yeah. I have drunk all my drinks, so yeah, no more for the rest of the stream. So I won't even be able to fulfill hydrates, but whatever. Whatever. Yeah, I never know what to really just yap on about during these ad breaks. But then again, they're not really that long. I've literally got them on the minimum to avoid pre-rolls, because I know there's a lot of people who don't like pre-rolls. I mean, there's some people who like pre-rolls, who don't mind pre-rolls and would prefer pre-rolls to shorter ads. No, prefer pre-rolls to longer ads even. But I know most people just don't like pre's. So yeah. So yeah. You have 20 seconds left of the ad. It feels so awkward during the ads because it's like, I don't have a lot to talk about during the ads. Especially now because my brain just feels like all mush at the moment. Because I'm tired, but yeah, whatever. I should really make a topic list of what to talk about during the streams, but I mean, that's why I have this whiteboard here. But yeah, welcome back from the ads, everyone. So yeah, so the killer needs to hide the blood somehow, and in a way that wouldn't arouse suspicion. And you are seriously suggesting that the liar was used to do just that? I am. I suspect that the blood you saw was somehow applied to the liar so that it could be hidden inside the case. Because, unlike the fountain water, the sculptures would have needed more time and care to test properly. And so he waited for his chance to dispose of the liar undetected. Then the reason he's here today is 18 years ago, Mr. Frost's body and the evidence pointed to his killer were taken away together. This, of course, was not part of the perpetrator's plan, and thus a new dilemma arose. How could he be sure that neither Mr. Frost's body nor the evidence wouldn't be discovered someday? So back he comes 18 years later, sneaking in bright and early to try and cover his tracks. Well, Mr. Gusto, are you finally ready to admit it? That you are the one responsible for the IS-7 incident? Mr. Gusto, it's all because of you, that Samson. What are you laughing at, you fucking dick? I hate this guy. He's a shit dad and he's a shit person. Gusto, so I finally caught her. All these years later, nobody came close back then. Not even the big shot prosecutor or the attorney. That's some impressive work, Mr. Prosecutor. I have to hand it to you. You admitted then that you murdered Artie Frost? Sure I do. Sure, I did it. I killed him. But he's only had himself to blame. What do you mean by that? He agreed to help me. We were supposed to help each other so that one of us could win. And whoever won was supposed to let the other use the cookbook. But on the day of the final, the fight finally showed its true colours. Seriously, Frost, we had a deal. Sorry, not helping you in the final. Our little agreement is over, Gusto. But I helped you. I spent all day yesterday making the ice for your pieces. Did you? And you can prove that, I suppose. Wait, you were planning to betray me right from the start, weren't you? After Frost double-crossed me, I had to make my piece for the final by myself. And like you said, my son wasn't there, so I didn't have any help with the flavour either. So much for the pride you claim to have in your ability to make delicious desserts. Go ahead and judge. You have no idea what it was like for someone like me to lose my sense of taste. I gave up everything to become the best. Everything. I take pride in that. Something someone like you could never understand. You're right. I don't understand. You take pride in the fact that you resorted to murder? And that you abandoned your son? Why would I want to understand someone who could do such things? A man can't afford to rely on other people. I learned that the hard way 18 years ago. My son never showed up on the day of the final. And in hindsight, I wouldn't be surprised if Frost was the reason why. Why would you think that? What exactly happened to your son? How am I supposed to know? I told you. He's none of my concern anymore. And according to you guys, nobody knows where he is now either. And you don't care? You're horrible. So of his disappearance, so too went your chances of winning, correct? Yeah, I had to find another way of getting my hands on that book. That's when inspiration struck. I decided to skip afternoon tea and stuck into Tangaroa's room. It should have been so easy. All I had to do was photograph the formulas I needed and get out of there. But then Frost showed up. I thought I might find you here, stealing recipes from the famous cookbook. Frost. What's this? A cure for taste disorders? Oh no, that's just too tragic. A confectioner who can't taste anything? What will people say? If you tell anybody, ow. You won't. You can't even hit me, you miserable worm. Why you? Frost shoved me hard when I went to punch him. That was me clean up my feet. I crashed into one of the lamps. Must have been when my blood got on it. So Mr. Frost wasn't the first to get hurt. When it was all over, I realised I had to get rid of the blood somehow. So I scraped off all the bloody bits, and dissolved those salt shavings in some flavoured ice mixture, and brushed it all over the harp. And so that's how you made the evidence linking you to the murder vanished. Frost was going to blackmail me. He would have made me give my money to keep quiet about my condition. So you decided you had to kill him? Yeah, I guess I did. Why would I let him live? Would you want someone holding something like that over your head? Besides, he's the one who drew first blood. Makes it for a solid case of self-defense, don't you think? So that was the impetus behind it all. Anyway, I initially took the lamp to Frost's room. Went straight there once I figured out how I was going to hide the bloody bar. Inspired by other ice sculpting tools lying about the place, I guess. You're not as dumb as you pretend to be. Yeah, I figured I could use them to chip it off and grind it up. Once that was done, painting the stuff all over the harp was easy. But why Samson? Why did you have to frame him? I never meant for the cops to pin it on him. That was your fault, you and the rest of them. Don't blame it on Judy! Don't blame it on her! Why do you think I went to the trouble of placing the lamps and cloths back in Scone's room? There's only one reason to plant the murder weapon in the room of another contestant, and that's to cast suspicion on that person. What? You tried to frame me, gutsy pants? Yeah, but why? Why poor old me? I respected Tangaroa. He was the best, a true champion. I never wanted him to take the fall. But you're a fraud. Your work wasn't even real. You had no respect for our quest at all. You deserve to be punished for what you did. Oh, Gusty, how could you? And had you refrained from eating Tangaroa's work, Frostbody wouldn't have been found. My plan was to wait until Tangaroa was judging your room. That's when I sneaked the corpse into Frost's room and freeze it. But thanks to you, Vampire found it before I had a chance to retrieve it. And was that another spelling error, I swear to God. I don't understand why did you need to freeze his body at all. Why indeed? Mr. Edgeworth, surely you must know. Why did Mr. Gusto need to freeze Mr. Frost's body? To obscure the time of death. Mr. Gusto needs to freeze Mr. Frost's body in order to obscure the time of death. If they determined that the murder occurred during the afternoon tea, he would have been an obvious suspect. Bingo! Freezing Frost's body wasn't simple. Preparing everything took time. So I decided to put his body in the chest in Tangaroa's room while I got everything ready in Frost's. At the time, it seemed like the perfect hiding place. Never counting on some gluttonous pharmacist showing up and making the whole ship collapse. I still don't get it though. Why disguise the body as an ice sculpture at all? The Tsunerus found the smell of the effect of freezing it would have had on masking the time of death. Therefore, he needed to disguise it, at least until it's fully frozen. How awful! using Mr. Frost's own work to help you cover up the truth behind his murder? Ironically, Tangaroa would have been just fine if the body hadn't been found before I got it out of his room. If only things had gone to plan, he wouldn't even have been arrested, let alone convicted. You mean it was my fault? Everything that happened to Samson, it was all because I found the body? Don't let him get inside your head, Jude. None of this was your fault. If it wasn't Samson, it would have been Delicia instead. She would have been the one they arrested. Either way, there's only one person to blame here, and that's Gusto. It didn't help that the initial detective was so bad at his job either. He never even told the prosecutor that the body had vanished. So then Mr. Von Karma had unwittingly placed Mr. Tangaroa under arrest in the absence of a body? I mean, I guess it would explain why he was so keen to wrap things up. Still, you think he'd notice something as big as that if he'd taken a look at a few reports, right? Not if someone had been deliberately distorting the facts of the case, though. Either way, it seems that Mr. Von Karma didn't know about the body until after the arrest had been made. But a maid that would have spoiled his perfect record, so he kept it to himself and proceeded to prosecute Mr. Tangaroa regardless. Can this really be true? You don't feel bad at all? Somebody spent 18 years in prison because of you. Sticks and stones, girlie. Sticks and stones. Yeah, I don't think sticks and stones compare to 18 years in prison plus the literal torture that Tangaroa went through during the interrogation process. Because if you remember from last stream, he was literally sleep deprived for who knows how long. Like, this guy right here isn't just your classic Ace Attorney culprit, right? He's a fucking monster, mate. Like, that's all that is to his character, really. What a jerk. I don't arrest you right now, pal. But I don't think he can. Statute of limitations. But I mean, to be fair, we could get him arrested for potentially breaking and entering into the art gallery. But then I don't know how long he would get. I don't think he would get any time at all, because Judy admitted that she left it open on purpose. I'm afraid I can't allow you to do that, detective. So you noticed her? Glad somebody did. The judge is right. You can't lay a finger on me. What? Why? You just confessed to murder. No idea, huh? Then I guess I'd better lay it out for you. I killed Frost 18 years ago. The statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years. You do the math. You can't arrest me. You think I'd have confessed otherwise? That's right. The statute of limitations is only 15 years. Is this really the end of the line, Mr. Edgeworth? Once the statute has expired, he can't be charged, so wait. Let me actually look at it. Statute is suspended should the suspects flee to a foreign country. Statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. And the trial was 17 years ago, so... But... How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm afraid that both Mr. Gusto's confession and your deductions will have to be struck from the record, and that Mr. Tangaroa's conviction will remain in place. But we're finally proving that the police never had Mr. Frost's body in their possession. Even if we can't arrest Mr. Gusto, surely Mr. Tangaroa has grounds for a retrial on that basis. Does he? I wouldn't be so sure. I'm afraid that the goddess's judgments are somewhat harder to overturn than you might imagine. So the committee means for the verdict from 18 years ago to stand no matter what? Bad luck, Mr. Prosecutor. There must be something we can do. Something to bring Mr. Gusto down. Fuck's sake, I hate this guy so much. I'm guessing that we're gonna go down the talking about the statutes route. Depending on your actions over the last 18 years, the statute may not have expired yet. It's ought to be good. Alright, I got nothing to hide. If there's something you want to ask it. Very well. Tell us where you've been and what you've been doing since the incident. Sure. Not long after the contest, I was able to cure my taste disorder thanks to the formula from that book. And not so long after that, I went to drink far to really buckle down and hold my craft. Wait a minute! The statue is suspended. Should the suspect flee to a foreign country? We can overturn the statute of limitations. That explains a lot. We tried to contact you after the fact, but I guess you were long gone by then, huh? Could be. I left. Let's see. Around a year after the murder. It was before Tangaroa's last day in court. And statue is suspended from the time of any accomplices at indictment to the end of their trial. Meaning that the 15 years only started the day after Gusto left for Zhengfa. Going to Zhengfa was the best thing I ever did. Flavor, design, and the full package now. And all the backs of those whose lives you destroyed. But again, the statue only started after Tangaroa's trial means nothing, since the statute would have been suspended from the very moment before it even would have taken into effect. What's an omelette without a few eggs? Nothing, Mr. Prosecutor, nothing. You're evil, sticks and stones, girl. You can't arrest me, that's all that matters. Need more to work with. There has to be something I can get out of him. Maybe I can push him further on the statements he just made. Is there anything I should follow up on? He's training in Zhengfa. I'd like you to tell us more about your training in Zhengfa, if you wouldn't mind. Fine. I went to Zhengfa to train and I finally became the best in the world.
Objection!
We're gonna get him. We're so gonna get him. The statute of limitations for murder is subject to the following condition. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. Which means that the time he spent abroad doesn't count towards the total time under the statute. No way. So it's like someone hit pause while he was in Zhengfa? It appears that there may be time left on the clock yet. But that would depend on how long you should stay in Zhengfa, Mr. Gusto. It was 3 years exactly. Which means, okay. So, it's been 17 years since the trial. So the statute would have been taken. So it's been 17 years. Wait, it's been 17 years, I think. Oh no, a statute expired 3 years ago. And what day is it today? I don't remember. But was there a little bit of time left? 3 years? Hold on. Nobody say anything until I've done the math. The murder happened 18 years back. The statute is 15 years. Add the 3 overseas. 15 plus 3 makes exactly 18, which means no way. Mr. Edgeworth, you did it. The statute hasn't expired after all. It's just about to expire though. So we've gotta be quick. Oh yeah, and the statute would be suspended during his trial, actually. Bingo, 18 years exactly. Glad you worked out for yourselves. He's just been stringing us along this whole time. Why is he laughing? We're good, aren't we? We can arrest him now. I hate to break it to you, little sis, but IS-7 went down at the end of December. It's April now, which means, strictly speaking, it's been 18 years and 4 months since Frost's murder. If Gusto's stayed in Zhengfa really lasted 3 years on the nose, it's not enough. We're a few months short. Not enough, but what did I tell you? You can't touch me. I hate to admit it, but he read the board well when he made his confession. How unfortunate. Wait, what did she say? How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. If only the statue had been suspended for another year. Those who would overturn the goddess's judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. And you, Mr. Edgeworth, have failed. There must be something I can do. I knew it. Well, if the law can't bring Mr. Gusto to justice, then... Jude, what are you thinking? that she must bring him to justice himself.
Objection!
There's no need to go adding to your own rap sheet just yet. We're not done here. Far from it. Cause there's still a way we can nail him. There is? Alright, Malzarino, pep talk. I need you to think back over everything you know about the case. Gusto's overlooked one critical thing, lady. That you yourself were led to believe wrongly about. Which is, he wasn't there for Samson's last trial, remember? Best I can tell, he doesn't seem to know what the final verdict that came down that day was. Which means there's still one way left for us. Crack open your statues for dummies there. Your statues for dummies there, and take another look. The statue is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. Which means I'm right, aren't I? About it only been 17 years? And therefore they still have another like few months left on the clock? 17 years ago they really did a number on Samson and framed him like a pretty picture. But if we make good of the verdicts now, we can make Gusto pay in full for what he's done. Fender, are you? Those who would overturn the goddess's judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. Samson's my client, Miles, and I can't bring myself to use the source of his pain as a weapon in this fight. So whether we play our last client card or not, it's gonna have to be up to you. Bringing Mr. Gusto to justice can only happen if I use the outcome of that hard-fought trial. So should I raise an objection and play that card or not? Yes. My father and Mr. Von Karma, one sought to reveal the truth, the other to hide it. I know which path I choose to follow, the one that seeks to reveal the truth. This court has reached its final verdict. The record will state that Mr. Gusto has been found not guilty on all counts. Fuck you! I hate her. No, Your Honor, Mr. Carmelo Gusto is absolutely guilty, and I refuse to let him walk away. His crimes are too unspeakable to go unpunished. Do you mean to suggest that you have grounds upon which to call for his arrest? I do. Now to show Judge Cavell something that proves the statute of limitations hasn't expired, yet the IS-7 incident case file. Fair enough, is there a particular page of the IS-7 case file you'd like us to refer to? Suspect there. I'd like to direct your attention to the page concerning the suspect. As you can see, Samson Tangaroa was convicted as an accomplice, and it took around 1 year from his indictment to that verdict to be reached. Then it does seem to be the case. The bookie gave us details of certain conditions pertaining to the statute of limitations for murder. One of them, as I mentioned, is that the statute is suspended if the suspect flees the country, and another states that the statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. What? Tangaroa was convicted as an accomplice? Yep, guess you were in Zhengfa when the verdict came down. Samson was convicted as an accomplice, not the main perpetrator, which is clearly news to you, and not good news either, am I right? But how can that be? Tangaroa was an accomplice to anyone, he was innocent and you know it, Oh, we know it. It's what we've been trying to prove all along. And in a pleasing twist of fate, his wrongful conviction will be the very thing that sets him free. If you spent 3 years in Zhengfa, and your accomplice Samson Tangaroa was on trial for 1 year, it means you can still be charged with Mr. Frost's murder up to 19 years after the fact. In other words, the statute of limitations hasn't expired at all. I was right. I was fucking right about the statute. That's so clap for me about being right about the maths. The goddess's judgment is infallible. But that of her servants, it appears, is not. It seems the prosecutor in charge of this case may have erred. Unbelievably, we had no choice but to instigate a full inquiry. No! How could this? You weren't supposed to be able to... 18 years ago. 18 years. That's a long time to let somebody else suffer for your crimes. It's time to pay the piper, Gusto. I know a moment too soon. But I'm finally the greatest. My brilliance has been recognized. I gave up everything for this. Everything, even my son. More's the pity. But he can't run from the law forever, because the bills come due at last. Yeah, we've got him. We've got him. What the fuck are you doing? Classic suspects. Classic culprit breakdown. Here's Gumshoe. Mr. Gusto's all set for his trip downtown, sir. Good. Which means it's your turn next, right? I suppose so. Jude, I'm so sorry, everybody. I've caused you all so much trouble. But thank you. Thank you so much for bringing Mr. Gusto to justice at last. I'm afraid there's no escaping the consequences of your actions, Miss Bound. But those actions were born of the legal mistakes that were made all those years ago. We all know that. So allow me to apologize in return on behalf of the prosecution. Oh no, I have no one to blame but myself for it all. Starting with those sculptures. Hey Jude, I think maybe you might want me to represent you. I'm not some nervous newbie anymore. And there's no way I'm letting you take the rap for everything. Oh, I'd be honored. Thank you, Mr. Fender. No, I really like Eddie. Eddie's just great. Sorry, ma'am, but you're gonna come with me now. Of course. Fuck you, Verity. I hate her guts. No, I hate her so much. Judge, give out. Why did you lie to us? Lie? What are you talking about? You implied that there was no case for a retrial, but as we've proven, that wasn't true. Surely anyone truly committed to seeing justice done would have called one as soon as the body was found. I am under no obligation to answer such questions, and you clearly have no intention of doing so either. Truly, you are proving to be quite a threat to the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. As such, you give me little choice but to report back on your continued transgressions. No doubt you will be called to appear before the committee in due course. Now, I must be on my way. What the heck? And after you caught the real killer and everything? Isn't that what prosecutors are supposed to do? Regardless of how it may all play out, I will never regret what we accomplished here today. Mr. Edgeworth. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. Yeah? Well, why did you stick your nose in this case anyway? You weren't even on the job. My job is to bring the truth to light, Mr. Winner. Not only as a prosecutor, but as a person. I don't get it. I wouldn't expect you to understand. Not as long as you believe that closing a case makes you a winner. That's going way over my head. I'm going home. I kind of feel bad for Eustace actually, because he kind of like acts like more childish than you'd expect. Like even Maya knew when to like kind of get more serious in the original trilogy and like kind of pull back her childlikeness. Like he seems something's definitely going on with Eustace. What was that all about? Eustace still has a lot to learn is all. Mousy Wowsy. Yes? I just wanted to say old Greggy Pegleg would have been proud of you today. Oh, look at me turn up. Dan, thanks for helping poor Sammy Poople. Of course. Hey AJ, looks like you cleared everything up, huh? So, what happened exactly? I was kind of busy sketching. Wait, where did Judy and Verity go? Wow, you really weren't paying attention, were you? Though I am loath to admit, Mary's sketches did come through for us on more than one occasion. And then I'm about to tell him that. Quit it with the glaring, will ya? Whatever I did, I'm sorry. Calm down, Larry. I wasn't glaring at you. You totally were. You're just like your pop. He was a terrible liar too. He was? Listen, I'm gonna head out. Need to fill something in on what went down today. You wanna come with? Yeah, of course. Great, then I'm coming too. And we are back in the detention center. So, what's Mr. Tangaroa like? I can't wait to finally meet him. Oh, he's a real sweetheart. You'll love him. Even while locked up, he can't help but make all sorts of cookies and cakes for everyone. It's why 3 p.m. cake extravaganza is a thing for prisoners and guards alike. Really? That sounds awesome. You think there'll be any left for us to try? Didn't we find a few slices of chocolate cake in the prison the other day? Oh yeah. Could they have been some of Mr. Tangaroa's baked goods? Gummy, what are you doing here? I heard you all were coming to see Mr. Tangaroa, so I volunteered to escort him. Hello, new friends. I'm Samson Tangaroa, Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service. And I'm Mr. Edgeworth's trusty sidekick, Kay Faraday. It's very nice to meet you both. Miles is here. Miles here is Gregory's son. Is that so? Your father was very kind to me and fought so hard for my case. But in the end, I betrayed him. I made a false confession and... Don't worry, Mr. Tangaroa. Mr. Fender has explained everything to me. Sure did, and now I'm here to tell you the truth about what happened 18 years ago. The truth. Judy did all that for me? Crazy kid racked her brain for 18 years until she'd finally figured out how to set you free. What can I say? Turns out she really would do anything for you. Oh, Judy, I never did anything to deserve such devotion. Come now, Mr. Tangaroa. I think we all know that's not true. The bond between the two of you held strong. I said strong for all these years, after all. You think so? I guess I better show it. Which piece of evidence is proof of the bond Mr. Tangaroa and Miss Bound share? The chocolates that Judy made. Those chocolates. Judy made them, didn't she? Yeah, she did. They're super delicious and sweet. Miss Bound continued making them just as she taught her, even after that fateful day, so that there would always be some waiting for you when you finally came home. Judy. No. I bet they're beyond super sweet then, aren't they? Very much so, I'm afraid. I do wish we could hand them to you. Don't worry, sir. I'll make sure he gets them later. Which would be a clever breach of prison policy. Not that I have the authority now to stop him anyway. Surprised he hasn't like get fired again. Thank you very much. You know, Detective, something about you reminds me of Detective Bad. Really, pal? Because I look up to him a lot. He's my role model. You don't say. It seems fate likes to bring people of all sorts together, huh? You hang in there, Samson. Just a little longer. I should be able to get you out soon. I'm sorry it's taken so long. Nobody should have to wait 18 years to get justice. Don't be silly, Eddie. I'm the one who should be saying sorry. Or rather... Thank you. Truly. Samson... Well, I guess it's my turn to wait for Judy to come home now. I better make sure there's something delicious on the table for her when she finally walks through that door. Don't let me down, Eddie. Leave it to me, big guy. No. Oh. The IS-7 incident. It's been 18 long years, but this case we'd inherited from my father. It's finally coming to a close. Hey Mouse, thanks for today. I'm sorry for forcing you to make the final call like that. No. I simply made the call that felt right to me. Huh? What are you guys talking about? You know how Samson was wrongfully convicted? We had to pretend that he wasn't in order to nail Gusto, but to use his false conviction against him, even to save him. As his lawyer, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Yeah, I can see that. But now that Gusto's behind bars, I can finally start to get that wrongful conviction overturned. Yeah, and I'm sure you will. Wait a minute. Does this mean that even if you were only doing what's right, if the false conviction had been overturned for today, Mr. Gusto would have gone away scot-free? Yep. It's what we folks in the trade like to call a legal contradiction. Law is far from perfect, because of things like legal contradictions, right? Yeah, but you never know. Things might change. The law's always evolving, just like us humans. Your Uncle Eddie and Miles Areno included, am I right? The potential for growth and change. In people and the law, huh? So, Miles, are you going to keep fighting crime as a prosecutor, or help people as an attorney? Something tells me you've got a big decision ahead of you. Only one can only answer. one only you can answer. I know. Well, let's just say I won't complain if you show up at the office one day. And on that note, it's time for me to skedaddle. I owe you big time, and I'll always repay my debts, but for now, thanks again for today. I mean it. The end of this case is so bittersweet. Did he seem kind of in a hurry to get out of here to you? He did. And honestly speaking, I'm the one who owes him a debt of gratitude. After all, he gave me the chance to reckon with my dad's final case. My father's final case. When I was a boy, all I ever dreamed of was becoming an attorney like my father. But then, during my time with Mr. Von Karma, I learned the way of the prosecutor instead. Eventually, with the help of some good friends, I found my own voice and a new way to live. But now my career as a prosecutor is at high risk of being taken away from me. It may be time to take another long, hard look at how I want to live my life, whether I like it or not. Where are we? Edgeworth and Co. Oh. Hey Gregory. Sorry for reporting in so late. Oh, there's Eddie. It may have taken 18 years, but we're finally in a position to prove Samson's innocence. All thanks to your boy Miles. I couldn't have done it without him. You should have seen him. The way he fought for the truth gave me chills. It was like I was watching you. Look, I know I'm not half the attorney you were, but those guiding principles you tried to instill in me, I like to think I'm embodying them now as I carry on your legacy. Here's hoping. No. Your boy will be joining me in that soon. No. Why is this case so cute? I was like, am I going to fight crime as a prosecutor or help people as an attorney? What is the right answer? Which path should I choose? No. And that is the end of Turnabout Legacy. Next case we have is a Turnabout Forsaken. We're going to do that next week. I'm going to start that next week. But yeah, we've got a Turnabout Forsaken and then Turnabout for the Ages. We've got 2 more cases left, which is crazy. Which is absolutely crazy. I'm going to exit the game for now. But yeah, I'm going to go and raid out. Let's go and raid Small Glow Cloud. They're playing some more Outer Wilds, I think. Yeah, Outer Wilds. They've been playing a lot of Outer Wilds recently. I've not been in their streams as much as I'd like, but whenever I get the notification on my phone, it always says Small Glow Cloud is live playing Outer Wilds. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this stream. As always, my socials are in the commands on Twitch that are only active during stream, about me section on Twitch, and in the description on YouTube if you're watching over there. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I shall see you guys next Friday. And yeah, see you guys. Bye. Okay, raid, go on raid. Time to go.